What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Lowery Show, episode 77. If you're just tuning in, it's an entrepreneur podcast, but I'm doing 10 episodes with one of my best friends, David Hecker and Brandon. Brandon, you're one of my friends, too. And, and we are, this is 7. We got 3 more episodes left of our 10-episode stretch. Including this one, yeah. Right.
So this is 8,
so,
I think.
Right. This is 8, episode 77 overall. I'm doing 100 podcasts. It's been a great ride. And this is my favorite part of the week. This is fun, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right,
Happy New Year's.
Yeah, we got a good rundown for you guys. We're doing trivia, David's video, big bites, and a few topics first. So, Brandon, what is numero uno?
All right, y'all. Question 1. Top 3 best of 2020.
Best of 2020. What a year.
What a year.
I have to say, I know a lot of people struggled hard this year with some serious stuff. I had, personally had a great year. I think I've said that.
This year was my best year of my life. My business
me too.
Popped off, yeah.
But you think it's because of adversity makes people better, or just?
Well, I think it's just situational for everyone.
Just being inside more, or quarantine,
That part was
why was it the best year for you? Why was it the best year for you?
Because of Lucy and being able to be home and that was a big thing.
The motivation of having a child,
I think you had a baby, and then which is great, and then also you kind of got stuck at home to spend time with her.
Right. Had I not had a baby, had I not had her, I'd be going crazy. Absolutely crazy. But it has been amazing. So there's just a lot of joy that comes with it. So that's been great. Like you said, work's been good. Working from home, I think a lot of people are noticing that.
Yeah,
you don't have to be in an office to be.
Yeah, I mean, the stock market's way up. I guess if you're a restaurant owner or a gym owner, it's been a rough year. If you lost your job because you work for one of those type of businesses, but worst part of the year for me is wearing this suit. Wearing this suit, of course. If you got the virus and died.
Yeah, or if somebody
I got the gold tie on for New Year's kind of theme. I feel good. I feel professional, and I was really upset about having to wear the suit, but right now I feel good.
I feel like you're about to try to sell me some insurance or something.
All right.
The best of.
I got 3 things.
All right, start us. What's numero uno? In no particular order.
No particular order. One of my favorite things of the entire year is Travis Scott for 2 reasons. One was I've talked about this a lot on the podcast before. The virtual Fortnite concert was epic, and my brother happened to be living with me, and he had an Xbox, so we tuned in. We went and played on Fortnite, saw the concert. It was so cool. But that's not my thing. Also, one of my favorite marketing things of the year was, I don't know if you know about this, the Travis Scott McDonald's meal.
Yeah.
So it was so cool because you drive up through the drive-thru and you just say Cactus Jack sent me, and then they give you the meal, and the meal is awesome too. I never got it, but it's a quarter pounder with cheese, bacon, and lettuce, medium fries with Sprite and specifically a barbecue sauce, I love barbecue sauce. Sprite's probably my favorite soda. So I love the meal. I love the marketing strategy. And I thought that was really cool. It was the first time McDonald's used a person to promote something since Michael Jordan. Yeah.
And they never really did, they used Michael Jordan in advertisements, but they didn't have the Michael Jordan meal. Yeah. So I thought that was a great idea.
And I love the idea of going to a drive-thru and saying a secret code. That's pretty cool.
I saw a bunch of videos of that not working, though. People would drive up and say, Captain Jack sent me, and they were like, what? What are you saying? And they have to know. They just refuse to play along, and I give them, they have every right to do so. If I worked at McDonald's and somebody said that, I'd be like, dude, no. You have to tell me the Travis Scott meal.
It kind of plays on, the culture rap, too. Have y'all seen the show Atlanta?
I haven't, but I know about it.
But, basically, apparently this happens, some fast food places are rings for drugs and stuff. So you go up to the drive-thru and say a code word, and you actually get a pound of weed or something like that instead of food. So I
usually
think
less, yeah.
So I think it's
a pound of weed.
But usually less.
An eighth or something.
So I think it's kind of a play on code words and that rap.
And I feel like it's also a play on, it was trendy to go and do a rap through the drive-thru. I like to order my bacon cheeseburger and lettuce. Or something like that. I don't know. That was the rap vibe.
That's amazing for you too. I've been to McDonald's with you. This was years ago, where they tried to charge you like 25 cents for barbecue sauce, and you lost it. You
I lost it.
Absolutely couldn't believe it.
Because I love barbecue sauce. I like to use extra. And I actually noticed that. I'm very impressed by McDonald's corporate strategies and implementation that any McDonald's that I went to, starting at a certain point in like probably 2015, they're the only one that charges extra for sauce. And imagine how awkward that is for the attendant. They're making minimum wage. Of course they want to give you the barbecue sauce. And like whatever their management is, that was across all McDonald's across the country that they started charging. Mm-hmm. So I got over that eventually. But now when I go to McDonald's, I expect to pay for extra sauce. And I like make it very clear at the drive-thru. But yeah, I think the barbecue sauce comes free with the Cactus Jack meal.
The Fortnite thing that seemed, and granted,
Dude,
I don't
so
have
cool.
Fortnite. It seemed so stupid. What was it?
Dude.
It was just they just
So-
showed a hologram. It wasn't like a live concert.
I don't have Fortnite either. I don't play video games, but like I said, my brother was in town. So you're a player. And in Fortnite, you run around, you shoot people, you jump from island to island, you fly, all this stuff. At a certain time, so it was Tuesday, 7 p.m., shuts down. And you can't shoot your gun anymore. And then it goes, and Travis Scott comes in on like a big asteroid. And he just pops in. And he starts like performing like 3 or 4 songs. And you can fly around him. You can and then if you hit the button, it did like his little thing where you put the stick in the air, it's on fire. Like you can go right next to his foot, or you can go way back and see him from a distance. Like you can run around and see his performance from different angles. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Just the future of it. Like you can't do that at a regular concert. You're stuck in your seat, and you can't fly around and see his head.
A little bit different. And it wasn't like live, right? Or was it?
Well, one thing I was really disappointed in was they had they released it like a concert schedule. 4 nights, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 p.m. So in that case, it was a concert as far as you can't click a button and go there. If you wanted to play the game during that time, you couldn't. Like they shut it down all Fortnite at that time. So that part was cool that there was like a time. But one thing I was disappointed was all 4 was the same performance. It was the same. I mean, apparently,
so it's just like a video, like they replayed the
right,
same exact thing.
Travis Scott at that time wasn't in all these light bulbs in a room performing.
Of course, yeah.
And that's what I thought it was at first. And I was like tweeting about it, and people were tweeting back, and they were saying, you know how much engineering goes into doing this? Like it's hard to do. So I was disappointed that
live would be incredible.
I was disappointed they didn't have four different performances, 4 different nights. But overall, that just blew my mind for the possibilities for the future and all that stuff. But it was cool.
Who do you think? I know obviously it's mutually beneficial, but do you think one person like benefited more than that, or one entity? You think Travis Scott got the better deal? You think Fortnite?
I mean,
you think
it was a win-win. It's a win-win.
But Travis
I saw Travis Scott made $20 million from the McDonald's deal. I don't know what he made from the Fortnite.
20 that's all they
do. 20 million? That's a fuckload of money, dude.
Not
I mean,
for
he did one commercial.
For a company like McDonald's.
I mean,
yeah, but all the marketing behind the Travis Scott, dude, that's not
20 million. That's like LeBron's yearly contract.
That's like most sports
crazy.
players
That's
yearly.
so much.
Yeah, but what's LeBron's endorsement contract, dude? FanDuel, these gambling companies are spend like $1 billion a year on advertising.
Yeah,
$20 million is a drop in the bucket.
I mean, but that's what Travis Scott got. Like all he had to do was film one commercial, do a couple tweets. Like it's a lot of money for him to get.
Okay. I would say it's a lot of, but I would think that a company like McDonald's would pay like a shoe contract. You know what I mean? But obviously,
but they're not like producing shoes. They're just, I don't know. He got $20 million for that.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought it was cool. So that's my number one.
Nice.
What you got?
Yeah, that was good. I will say, all right. Kind of in the same breath, The Last Dance. As far as like entertainment goes, television. I thought that was so good. I think anyone who grew up in that era like we did, where you like
I was little.
We saw the twilight of it, right? His twilight years,
yes.
But still, he was a legend. By the time we were following sports, whether it be because of Space Jam or just his greatness, he was a legend. I remember seeing him play in Philly, and it was, we were for months we're excited to see it.
But The Last Dance informed me about a lot of stuff from the years I didn't know.
Right. And I think a lot of people knew that he was like uber competitive and like kind of abrasive, but I know that he was afraid to release it because they were sitting on this for a while, and he was afraid to release it because he thought that public perception would be swayed.
He's a dick.
Yeah,
Right.
they thought they would hate him more, but
everyone already kind of, well, not everyone,
Yeah.
but a lot of people already knew that.
I knew that.
I think this did the opposite. This like gave you a little bit more perspective and like humanized why he was a dick. He wasn't a dick to be a dick. He was a dick because all he cared about was winning.
Dude, what's
and
more
he did
American
everything
than
in his
being
power.
competitive and wanting to win? Like he amplifies that.
So amazing. Every single episode there was a talking head of his that, and he would always have to like take a break afterwards.
Yeah.
It would always be like, it would just like fire you up so much.
Dude, I
The
could
one
not.
with
I literally
Pi-
could not watch it before bed. I couldn't. I couldn't watch it before bed because I got too like fired up. Like I really did.
so
True.
good.
Yeah, that was a great one.
And another thing I love about it is apparently, so like I said, they were sitting on the footage. They had it pretty much ready to go, and they were just waiting on Michael Jordan to say, "Okay, we're good to go. We're good to release it." And apparently, the day that he like greenlit it and was like, "All right, this is a go," because obviously everyone wanted to make this documentary, was the night that LeBron won the championship in Cleveland, and he was like, "All right, let's do this. Let's remind everyone who's the GOAT." And it's just amazing. I thought it was such a well done. I love documentaries, and that was a highlight of television for me this year.
The main thing I learned from that I didn't know was the year that Jordan was out and Scottie Pippen and the team, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks. Scottie Pippen like bailed out on that one quarter. It was like the fourth quarter. It was like a tie game, and he was like, he pouted on the sideline and didn't go in. I mean, jeez. But
what I learned is
that
Jerry Krause is just like, he's actually was like, he's hated, but like he was
hated by Jordan, who makes everyone an enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he like didn't. I mean, there was no reason for that team to have to break up like that. And he was like the villain from Space Jam was obviously
and I didn't know that before The Last Dance.
Yeah,
and me neither. But I knew that he was like kind of a public enemy, and him and like Jordan never got along. Pippen, like he wouldn't pay, but he was. I loved how they would just like rag on him, make fun of him so hard to his face on the play, and they were all just like,
"Hey Jerry, want to come shoot some layups with us?"
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny. I loved seeing all like that behind the scenes footage and Jordan at practice, just
so cool. And I remember the one time, like him and Scotty, where they were like drinking a couple of like cheap beers, and Scotty's like, "I don't want to see the camera have us drinking beers," and like we didn't see that footage till all these years later. Yesterday was LeBron's birthday, and dude, I think LeBron is better than Jordan. Jordan literally was so competitive and fierce that he tired himself out twice. He had to retire twice. And LeBron's,
first time because his dad, like
LeBron has better longevity. And by the way, that was another thing I was very disappointed about in the documentary was the story of his dad dying is still mysterious.
Well, it's not really mysterious.
It was a murder,
question, right? And it's a question, and you know why? Like
he had gambling debts and things like that,
which is why he allegedly retired and went to play baseball because he got
people
caught
don't just murder
basketball.
People don't just murder random people, and they don't just murder Michael Jordan's dad.
Right. So
why did they murder him?
Because he was in debt like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but he's so, but like,
that's what they say.
He's so. I mean, the one thing he always said about his gambling problem, he's like, "Yeah, I love to gamble. I do it all the time.
I love to win.
I have a lot of money though." So like for someone else who has a gambling problem that can't pay their mortgage, I get that how it's bad. For me, I'm rich. So like if this had a gambling debt and they were like, here's what I think. They were like, "I'm going to murder your dad." He's like, "Yeah, okay." And then they did it, and like he could have he had the money.
Sure. He obviously he's way richer now than he was when that happened. But yeah, I mean, for sure
he had the money.
Depending on what the debt looked like. But also this is like hearsay, who knows? But that would also explain why he quit and retired and played baseball in the minor leagues for a year. People were saying he got caught betting on basketball.
People say he got pushed out. Like because the story's vague and they did not clarify it well in The Last Dance.
Because of course, why
he wouldn't greenlight that.
It would just legitimize it, but because I think he had final say in all the content. Like if he didn't want it in, it wasn't going to get there. But it makes sense if David Stern found out he was betting on basketball, like he was Michael Jordan. For that to get out would be catastrophic to the NBA.
But like, how would him playing have it get out more?
Well, they had to do something. You know,
like a punishment type thing, and like, yeah, it's a little shady around that storyline, but whatever.
What do you think about like? I know betting on. I don't know.
Come on, Pete Rose, like.
Yeah, exactly.
If you bet on yourself, I still think that's fine. If you bet against it, that's not cool. Like the White Sox in 1908 with Julius Joe Jackson, or whatever they were.
And that
that is
that's where it
wrong.
comes
That is not. That will ruin your league. It'll ruin the integrity of your fans of the sport. You can't bet.
And that's why
So you shouldn't be
can't
allowed to bet on the game you're in, even if you, that's a
you
very
should be able to bet
rule.
on your sport. I don't think you're allowed to technically bet if you play professional sports. I don't
think you should be able to. Don't. What's the point of that? Don't. I'm fine with that rule.
I mean,
if you're an NBA player, you can't bet on the NBA. Like that's.
What
fine.
about like can an NBA player bet on football if it's legal where they live?
In my opinion, sure.
I agree. I don't know if they are. I think they are. I don't know. Interesting. But yeah. So the Last Dance was great. I was trying to think of like
that's a great
TV.
one.
We talked about Tiger King being overrated. I think the Last Dance was infinitely better. So
yes, of course. All right, my second one is my man Donnie Trump loses the election, and we don't need to get too deep into it. And I was disappointed to see that you know how we talked about you remember memories and all that stuff. I've always said this is my favorite moment from the Trump presidency, and it's so stupid and silly. I don't know why I love it, but I'm gonna share my screen real quick and play this like 5-second clip. I just want to see like if you can remember this or your reaction.
Used to say, Tim, you got to start doing it over here, and you really have. I mean, you've really put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. But we're opening it up. We have to bring people in. We want them to be people.
Thank you very much, Tim Apple. Like
amazing. I love that.
I like. Love it because I'm making fun of him? Is it stupid? I don't know why I like it so much. It's so silly. Tim Apple.
Good like it's like a microcosm of how his brain works. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simplifying. Apple guy.
He's Apple.
Yeah, I love that. It's also I love seeing him embrace if he found out Tim Apple said one thing that could be like a disparaging comment against him.
Tim Apple doesn't like him.
Right, but say Tim Apple after that came out and said something offensive about Trump would go on record publicly and like just start trashing Tim Apple and call him short and weak or something. You know what I mean? So he's so spiteful and vengeful. So
you think it's like he might have did it on purpose?
No, I think it was like a Freudian
slip. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but that was actually in 2019. That was going to be my moment, but I'm taking the liberty by saying I love the guy. I'm very surprised he lost. I get it though, and
he's surprised he lost too.
He could have done a lot of things better as far as the
this
quarantine stuff.
Yeah, this year
and
the
protests.
It wasn't even like I don't know how much of it is his actual policy around this stuff versus his response to like his
policies are great. His policies are great.
I'm talking about like this year with the the protests, the political unrest, that's one thing, but the like coronavirus stuff. Nobody knows how to do that. So it's a bad look that he like disbanded the pandemic response team. But
I have no problem with that.
Right.
He should have embraced the masks earlier.
Right. And he should have not he like continued to do it. He could have learned from his mistakes early and been like, okay, I'm going to change my tone. And he didn't that's what I think was like his biggest mistake.
And every single person was like watching. There was that 15 days to stop the spread, March, April, something like that. And they did a press conference every day at 5:00. And he even said the ratings were off the charts. Like that was highly watched.
Crazy.
And Shelby's dad said that's when he lost his vote because he came out there like ready to fight with the press and stuff. And it was good TV and he had some good points, of course, like always. But he needed to be more just respecting the desk. And then that comment, it is what it is. That's him. I mean, he doesn't look back at the negative things. He moves forward, but he needed to be a little more. I understand that this is a terrible time for some people. A little more empathetic. He has zero empathy, and like, I'm not saying he's not kind, and like he doesn't have like a little bit of kindness down in his soul, but he should have faked it. He should have faked some empathy during the virus with people dying, and that is what it is. Comment wasn't great, and I said this many times. The protests, I kind of agree with his policies as far as, hey, this is looting and rioting. This is not right. And anybody has the federal government support if they need us to come in. And that was the right response policy-wise, but he should have just been, this is a moment I can unite the country. And he doubled down on kind of being a dick.
It could have been a layup for him. He could have said like
a layup. I use that phrase many times.
Of course, this single incident, it was awful. And this guy, like this was.
I mean, he did say that. But he didn't say it like deep enough.
Right. And then you go back to when he was talking about the stuff in Charlottesville. He's like, oh, there's good actors on both sides. And then with this, he's like, oh, these people are all scumbags. It's like, okay, just he has no tact. He has no like subtlety in the way that he's speaking.
Do you think he
When
would
it comes
lose
to empathy
supporters
stuff.
by showing empathy towards the left liberals? Like,
You can't lose supporters by like being Martin Luther King-esque, like saying, hey, we are one America. Every single person that's an American gets rights and we love everybody. Let's unite. Like, no, I don't think he would lose supporters.
That's what I think he did. He was the worst at is like, I've said this before on the podcast, I think, but his biggest enemy in his mind is an American who doesn't vote for him, an American who doesn't support him, as opposed to like an American enemy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. And even if he thinks that, but fakes it,
Right.
goes up there and just says, I love everyone. I respect everyone. It would have been nice.
but that's a good thing that he doesn't fake his like thoughts. His like,
I mean, that's his realness, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite thing about Joe Biden so far is he hasn't jabbed at the right, like, at all. He's just stuck to it and just said, I'm the president of all people. Kamala made maybe a few jabs. Like, he's just been very diplomatic, and it's so easy. It's so easy. You're the president. Just say, I'm the president of everyone. Just put that into your pitch a few times.
Never before have
Whatever.
I mean, at least in our lifetime, has there been an era where like people hate each other just because of their like politics? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like if
the
you
extremes always find reasons.
Yeah, but if you
Obama's
voted
a
for
socialist.
well, if you voted for Trump, there's a big part of the country that just despises you.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Right.
if you think that like Black Lives Matter, if you support that movement, then there's a whole side of the country that, thinks you're a snowflake pussy and hates you too. So it's like, it is very divided. Hopefully Biden being a moderate,
I think it'll
less.
get, I don't think the country will get better as far as policies and foreign. That was Trump's best thing, was actually foreign policy. Cause he just wasn't like backing down, but everything's gonna be fine. Biden's gonna be a good president and we'll see what happens. But Tim Apple was, and Trump, that was my other 2020 thing.
Love it. Awesome. Cool. So another awesome thing that happened this year, SpaceX, really like space in general, but SpaceX was awesome. It was the first time that NASA had partnered with like a private company, right? And sent astronauts to the International Space Station. That was amazing. Also, NASA landed a spacecraft, on an asteroid, which like kind of went under the radar. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know Trump, when he got into the office, said he was going to start funding and support like space exploration. He had the Space Force and all that stuff.
I love the idea of the Space
That's
Force.
amazing. That's a great idea. And this has been, that was,
I hope Biden
big,
keeps it.
Also aliens. I know you're going to laugh at this, but like the government essentially confirmed that aliens exist this year. And there was so much going on that everyone just was like, oh yeah, of course. But like,
I wouldn't go as far as say they essentially confirmed it. They said there was an unidentified like object or something like that.
And
like
I don't know
like an actual piece of like metal or something like that. Like something that was physical. They were like, we don't know where this came from.
They said this is unearthly, right? Like this did not come from Earth. And then also, I think, and I'm kind of speaking out of my butt a little bit, but I think that the coronavirus relief bill that was recently signed had something in it that said that all of the, like maybe not all, but a lot of classified information as it pertains to aliens needed to be disclosed in 180 days from the day it was signed. So
what? It's so weird how they could put that in that.
They put a lot of stuff in those bills that you don't realize.
No, I didn't.
That was bad. Like a lot of, for this $1 billion+, I think several $1 billion relief fund, like 500 million went to additional salaries for people in the government. Like money went everywhere.
Almost none of it has to do with COVID.
Almost
that's what happens with those bills. Like
a lot of it, millions and hundreds of millions of dollars for foreign aid when they're spending less on the American people. But regardless, if it leads to more classified information getting released, that's amazing. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
What do you think the reaction would be? Are people now like jaded and so understanding?
It depends what the information is, I guess.
If they say like, yeah, we've been visited by aliens, I think people are going to be like, yeah, okay, like we
gotta
know that, and then just keep going.
I would need more details. I mean, I don't know what that means.
Regardless of what that means, this is exactly right. Like, if you're not going to be blown away by the fact that we've been visited by aliens, it's like, okay.
Do you think they told Trump that aliens exist? Like when you get elected, they like take you into the.
I feel like Trump would just blurt it out.
That's what I'm thinking. He would tell people if like he was told that. So
he's got a couple of weeks left, so maybe on his way out, he's going to pardon a bunch of people and expose secrets.
Yeah, but the space thing, I followed it. I was excited about it. Trump and Pence went to go see Elon Musk, and it took off. Like, but they didn't go? Like, what did they do?
They went to the International Space Station, but the big thing is that they basically a private company.
That's the big deal.
Space.
How often do people go to the International Space Station?
I think relatively often. I don't know exactly.
That's why
I don't know.
Like they didn't go to the moon or anything like new or exciting. It was just like
the people who launches
it's
them,
a private
those
company.
Are countries.
That was the main thing. It was the fact that the government and private company are working together, and I'm all for private companies doing space, of course.
Right, for sure. And then, is that going to lead to commercial space exploration? People get it. Random.
I think commercial space exploration would be so fucking boring.
Really?
Like you pay $100,000, whatever it is, you get on a plane, rocket ship, and then you go up and you just fly around space, and that's it. It'd be so boring. And I actually heard astronaut on Joe Rogan say, Joe Rogan was like, "What was it like? You're on the International Space Station, you're looking at the Earth from space." He was like, "Huh? I mean, I've seen pictures before. It's kind of like it's just it looks like what
I don't know.
It looks like in the
disagree.
pictures."
Because
it'd obviously be cool, but I feel like the story's cooler than the reality of flying around space.
Also, it's not like you're taking you're not taking an airplane up there. Taking a
right.
rocket ship.
The takeoff would be cool. The takeoff would be cool.
And then when
I
you're
guess
there,
I'm talking about when you're up there.
And then also, I'm sure he got bored after weeks, right? But if you're there for a day, I can't imagine that would be boring.
It's just like traveling in any situation. Depends what you're doing, who you're with. But
right.
I mean, maybe we'll talk about space a little more later in the future stuff. But
sure. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's kind of your first step to going to Mars.
And it was a big thing. And it was a big thing for 2020. That was a positive. You sound great, but just make sure all your shit's perfectly plugged in, the cords, because it's once in a while it ruffles, the cord. Just make sure it's not loose. All right, so that was your number 2. My last one is a selfish one, but it kind of relates. I got a Tesla, and I got it in March. And you ever been in one?
No. Well, not one that was. Yeah, no, not one I was driving.
I've been obsessed with driverless cars ever since I heard about them because, as you know, I'm a horrific driver. Mostly because I don't really pay attention, and it's such a chore to have your hands locked on the wheel, stare at the road. If the possibility is you can chill, obviously that's way better. So I just love the idea of it, and I can never go back. Actually, the electric part, besides for road trips, has been really nice because I don't never go to gas stations anymore unless I'm getting chips or something. But the driverless element, it's amazing. It's so nice. It's so cool, and it's getting better and better. And the other day, I actually ran up on a curb for a second because I thought I was in it, and I wasn't.
Wait, you have to put it into a mode? It won't automatically correct?
You double tap. You double tap, and it goes boop, boop. And then the blue lines are on the screen, and you're in it. And it's so awesome. And I always say, people think Tesla electric cars, I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's better for the environment. Cool. The driverless element it was definitely one of the highlights of my year. And for people who don't know this, the coolest thing is the updates. Just like your phone gets sent an update. When I first bought the car, it didn't stop at red lights. It didn't know where the red lights were. If there was a car in front of you at the red light and you were the second car, it would stop because it stops when there's other cars around you. But if you're the first one in line for the red light, it wouldn't stop. And then one day, came back to my car, got the update, and then it was stopping at red lights. And
so you never brake anymore at red lights ever?
No, I don't need to.
Crazy.
Do you ever drive it, or do you always let it drive itself?
So you have to make turns, and sometimes, it doesn't make sharp turns. If I have to merge onto if I'm going
90-degree turn.
It won't make a 90-degree turn. No.
Really? Interesting.
No, not yet. They say that update should be coming. He said by the end of the year, and it's the end of the year. It hasn't come.
I wonder why. I wonder what.
It's hard. I kind of know how the car works from driving it, and it's very good at knowing what's around it. On the screen, it'll show if someone's on a bike next to you. It'll show a little guy on a bike. If you're driving by a trash can or a cone, it'll show the cone. It knows the cars that are around you. It's very good at not bumping into things when it's in autopilot. Of course. Yeah, you can't bump into things.
That's a big one, yeah.
But it's amazing, and the sensors are so wide. The turns, though, there's a lot going on, and sometimes it's abrupt. If you are in the car and there's a car in front of you, and it's way in front of you, and from your eyes it's turning that you don't need to slow down. It'll kind of do a sharp kind of abrupt stop, and it's it's not as smooth as it would be if you were driving it. Turning, I can see how it's hard for it because oncoming cars, like there's a lot involved in making a hard turn. I'd be surprised if that came out by the end of the year, but that's the next thing for
we
it.
have like
Well, I meant like
12
when they
hours.
said that earlier in the year, I was like, we'll see, because I can see how the sharp turns are hard, but
do they
on the
so
highway,
the-
I didn't touch the steering wheel once for 300 miles.
does the autopilot use like GPS at all, or is it just the sensors around it?
Yes.
Like, does
Okay. So there's two modes. If you're in the neighborhood, there's not really a mode, but if you are on a road trip, it's called navigate in autopilot, and it will get you off on exits based on your destination. So that's
Well,
that's for like road trips. So, well, it can't take sharp turns. So yes, you put in, like, it will actually hook up to your calendar and know where you need to go, and then you like swipe down, it'll take you home. So it knows where you need to go. But in a neighborhood, like with sharp turns, it doesn't really
about-
matter.
I guess my question is more, say you're on like a back road and it's like a very windy road, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, it can do that, right? Even
Oh,
if it's like
yeah.
a 90-degree, it's a 90-degree curve, it'll take
It can
that.
do
Like a dirt
very
road
curvy
with like
road.
trees
Yes.
on, like.
Here's
So
here's the thing about a dirt road. It doesn't work in my neighborhood because the only way it works is if there's lines in the road. It reads the lines in the road. So if you don't have lines in the road, it doesn't work. You can't go into it.
So, like when I went from driving a stick to driving an automatic, there were certain things that like I had to get used to again, because I started driving an automatic, then stick, and then when I say I was on like a back road and I was approaching a sharp turn, like an automatic car won't know that's coming, so it will like downshift, you'll or upshift, and you'll get a little bit more speed, right? And then where in the another car, and you have to hit the brakes versus just downshifting. Like, is that an issue? Do you see, like, if you're on a road and there's a curve there, like, will the car not anticipate the curve until it gets close? So like it's
No.
accelerating kind of, and then it has
No,
to, like,
it'll slow down around curves. It'll slow down
okay,
around curves.
like naturally, or is it like
Naturally.
kind of abrupt? Okay.
I mean,
That's cool.
yeah, naturally. It's really good at curves, but once there's
Mm-hmm.
a turn, it can't do it. And
Is that
I
sorry,
actually
last question.
keep my foot on the accelerator a lot. Like, you can set the speed limit, and I swear sometimes it lets you go like way above the speed limit on highways. Sometimes it won't let you go, like, if it's the speed limit. It knows the speed limit, which is cool. But if you're going 45 and you want to go like 55, you put it in autopilot, but then you keep your foot on the accelerator. And so sometimes if I'm going around a curb too fast, it's my fault because I'm accelerating.
Sean,
about-
Sean, I was gonna say one thing.
Yeah.
Like the lights is like yellow, about to turn red, and you're like kind of going fast. Like,
I'll accelerate through it.
yeah, I was wondering, does like stop?
You can,
like
you
if
can
if
override that. If I want to go through a red light, I could. I would just put my foot on the accelerator and just run right through it. Like, you can override the autopilot with the accelerator, but you could also, if it's a yellow light, it'll stop at the yellow light if you don't have your foot on the accelerator.
What's your biggest gripe with the car? Just the like battery life?
The
Your
door
road trip?
handles. No, the door handles. I hate the door handles. I hate the door handles. I don't know why.
You just don't
I-
like the function that you have to like push them in?
Yeah, you have. It's like they think it's so slick, but like if you have something in your hand and you only have one hand, you can like push it with your thumb, and then you kind of gotta like
Yeah.
open the door. I hate the door handles. I hate them. That's my
What
only
about
gripe.
that's it? Like, I
That's it.
guess if you're driving up to Philly, that can be annoying having to stop to recharge.
Road trip charging is so annoying.
So that's the big thing is like, again, well, I think we'll talk about it in a little bit, but when the battery is able to be like 1,000 miles, that's a huge,
Yeah.
it's a huge difference between whatever it is now.
Yeah.
So last question, your updates that you get, like, aren't there also like performance updates, like the battery life will improve or the like engine will improve a little bit?
I don't
somehow?
know the answer to that. If I had to guess, I would say that the battery life can't really improve
because
Well,
it's
the
just
software.
hardware.
because it's hardware. Because it's hardware.
No, the battery.
But it
life
might be
can
able to
improve
make
a lot.
little changes in the software that
efficiency. Mhm.
efficiency, like using less.
I think it can.
volume,
I remember,
like
I thought I read that
little.
it does.
I don't think this car will be able to go 2,000 miles.
No, of course. But
With an
even if it's like
update.
50, an extra 25, 30 miles, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, I know how excited you were ever since the idea of a driverless car
Right.
was introduced.
and,
You've been
and I've been
so-
obsessed with it.
such
And
a hardo about
all
it.
and everything else, like in my old car we had like the aux cord. All the music and the entertainment is seamless. It's seamless. It's perfect. You get in the car and it'll just play whatever's on your phone, like right on the speakers without having to touch anything. It's awesome. So it's definitely the highlight of my year. I'll never go back to a non-driverless car.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that's a good one. If I was saying like my personal year, obviously, I have to mention the whole having a child thing, but I'll keep this more general. so this is really more in the past 2 weeks, but I think it's a pretty cool, like a pretty cool thing that's happening. So the Barstool Fund, have you seen this? I don't know if you've.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Gary Vee joined
obviously
it.
so he donated. So
Gary Vee like kind of jumped on. He's like, wow, everyone loves this. I want to get in on it.
really, well, I mean, it's pretty cool. So Barstool obviously
awesome.
is like pretty controversial, right? But one thing they've always done is they've always been good at giving back. So like they hopped on the ALS charity and the Ice Bucket Challenge before everyone else. They were really involved in that. Boston Marathon, bombing relief. They've always been good at charity, but people who don't like Dave Portnoy don't really like to acknowledge it or whatever. They don't like the politics or the humor. But this is, I mean, it's been less than 3 weeks and they've raised $12 million through basically Dave Portnoy and Barstool like calling out celebrities saying like, hey, millionaire, you should donate, and Barstool fans. $12 million in a couple weeks.
That's incredible.
It's amazing.
And I like. Here's my favorite thing about this is I'm actually not like a big charity guy. Like you give money to charities, like, and then I don't know what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and also I believe that you have to build yourself up first. In the future, maybe when I'm like more rich and doing something else, I can do more charity. But this isn't just giving to a charity. They're helping small businesses specifically, and they're picking them. And that part I love about it. It's actually money that's going right to the company. It's not like going to some charity where you don't know what's going to happen with it. How do you cure?
I was
you give $1 million to cancer. What do they do?
I was thinking about this because
really
I was watching the video of Dave Portnoy talking to one of the he works with like cloth yarn or something. He's like a company. And I was thinking like they give money to him, but it's like in the contract is they own part of the business now. Like does Gary Vee get like a percentage?
No,
like
nothing like that.
I don't think Gary Vee is
that
really
wouldn't be
involved.
Charity.
I think Gary Vee's involved in the sense that he donated.
He might have
He's
donated.
not like a part of the. I think it's three people.
But Gary Vee was tweeting like, just got off the phone with Dave Portnoy. I love what he's doing.
Right.
Something like that.
They
I was
did
trying to
like
think like what do they get out of it? Basically, is there like an
That's the whole point.
underline?
Nothing.
Yeah,
of course, views and recognition and everything like that. But
they also
if they took a percentage of the business, that wouldn't be
like Tom Brady
charity.
said he was in it. Like it's just like I don't know.
Bunch of celebrities. And here's another cool thing: is it's not like a one-time grant. If they choose you, they will make sure that you get the money that you need to keep your payroll going and keep your business afloat until this is over. So it started like for a restaurant. So it's not like you get a check for $100,000 in January. It's like if this shutdown lasts for another 6 months, you get money the entire time to make sure that you can stay afloat.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It's I think people are even the people that hate Barstool, like they're looking for a reason to like hate on this, but it's impossible to do. It's giving money directly to people in small businesses. And it's, $12 million in three. I saw something where the United Nations has had a fundraiser for COVID relief for like 4 months, and they raised $4 or $7 million or something, and Barstool has raised $12 million in a couple of weeks. It's pretty remarkable.
It shows the power, and I hope, and I'm sure they are, that they're giving money to businesses that would succeed otherwise. Like in Parks and Rec, when Leslie tries to keep the local video store alive, and the guy in the town hall's meeting, like, I can watch any video on my phone right here. Like, if your business is dying because of capitalism, there's no reason to save that. But
they're vetting.
They vet well,
there's a ton of criteria, big time. They vet well because I think it's companies that haven't like shut down payroll. So companies that have been paying their employees, like it's not new businesses. Most of them are company or like restaurants or businesses that have been around for like 25, 30 years.
And ones that I think a lot of them are ones that where people come in where the virus has affected retail, restaurants, movie theaters, things where events. And I think they're sticking to those businesses. So that is awesome. I haven't seen one person been like, everyone is like thinks it's amazing. And it is.
Yeah. Darren Rovell is the worst, but he had a couple of bones to pick. He's this guy.
What was his bones to pick? I know who he is.
He's
like ESPN reporter, business sports
like
reporter type guy.
The business sports reporter. Oh, there's $15 million, whatever.
Right.
He's a nerd. He basically said like, oh, it's like I think this is awesome, but like shocker, no surprise here that you're pressuring people into donating. Like, dude, get a life. Stop being such a nerd.
He's the worst.
He is the worst. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think Barstool is like they exploded. They're huge. Say what you will about the company itself, but it's hard to poke a hole in this.
Yeah.
People helping people. So
yeah,
man, it's been a crazy year, but those are some good things. Did you have anything else on your list?
No. I had some honorable mentions. WAP, the NBA coming back, which I loved when it came back. I love when the NBA came back.
Had that too.
The second that I took coronavirus for real was the second the NBA shut down.
Yep.
Before that, I was kind of like, eh. And then when that
was the
happened,
first
I
ship
was
to
like,
fall,
damn, this is
the
real.
first ship to fall. I remember I had a pit in my stomach when I got that notification.
Me too.
And it started because one game got canceled. I think it was the Jazz game got canceled.
Yep.
And then
Rudy Gobert,
an hour or two later, we got a notification that they suspended indefinitely.
Yep.
We thought like, oh man, a couple of weeks.
And I had my wedding coming up, and that was a big thing for me. And then I started taking that seriously. Other thing I had on my honorable mention list was the Redskins renaming to the Washington football team, which I just love. I just think it's an amazing name. The football.
What about
They
Cleveland?
said they're going to keep it.
They are okay. They should.
They should absolutely keep it.
What about the Cleveland Indians? They also they're changing
them.
Mm-hmm.
They should be the baseball team.
I think they got to think of something better than that. Like they
can't
can't just hop on the back. Yeah, I had sports coming back too. That was huge. The fact that we were able to have that happen.
Is there any other like Native American like sports teams other than Florida State left?
Yeah, like there's like the Fighting Sioux of North Dakota. There's a few college.
I think if you name it after a tribe, I don't think that's disrespectful. Is the Seminoles disrespectful?
Some people.
I don't think so.
Some people. I don't think it is.
That's not. But like the logo and the whoa, people get offended by that.
The Braves. The Braves.
What about the Fighting Irish? That's like a derogatory. Like imagine if Notre Dame changed their name. You would have 10 million little Irish guys in tears, crying, like marching to Notre Dame to make sure they don't change the name. It would be so funny.
Notre Dame's so
weird. They play tomorrow, right?
Yep, can't wait.
Oh, I cannot wait. I'm gonna be.
I'm not. I have low expectations, but Notre Dame's so weird because it's a Catholic thing that is named after a French church, Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish, and it's in Indiana in America. So weird.
What before we never talked about the ACC championship game. I know that you were excited for that one. What are your thoughts after that?
They lost, and they knew that they could lose and still be in the final, the playoffs. So like, the undefeated element, the Patriots going to like being undefeated. My senior year in high school, my rec basketball league, we were undefeated and lost in the playoffs. Like being undefeated is in football is a little different, college football, but I'm not too upset about it. They still have a chance. They're the fourth best team.
They actually have no chance versus LA.
Yeah, were you? Did you?
They're
think
20-point underdogs.
Do you think they got exposed? Like, do you think it was after the first half? It was like, uh-oh, this team does not belong.
I don't know, man.
I think
like,
they're the
fourth best team. And I'm not expecting much versus Alabama. I'm scared shitless. They're the best team they've had. They built themselves in 2012 when they got whooped by Alabama. They rebuilt the program to have like big linemen and the running game, and like this is big. I have low expectations. I'm very, very, very scared, but this is the best shot they got. So
Devontae Smith is gonna like ruin y'all's like.
I'm just very scared.
It'll be fun.
2020, like, yes, a year we'll never forget, which people say it's a terrible year. And of course, but it's a year we'll never forget. We'll always look back on. A lot of people are in different situations, but we learned a lot about ourselves as humans, and we put it into a new situation. We saw how we reacted. I think it's a year we'll never forget. And I think that with any negative, you've got to find the positives in it. And I think it was a good year.
I had a couple real quick honorable mentions. So the song "Forget Me Too," it's on MGK's new album with Halsey.
Okay.
MGK had like a pop punk album.
I love that album.
We talked about it. I do not like him as a rapper at all. I love that album. I love this song. It's amazing. Sweetheart turned me onto it. So that was my song of the year. Dogs had a great year because all their owners were home. So now they're like used to having company all day. And then so I read that the last Ebola patient was treated and discharged in the Congo. So like Ebola is eradicated. And also apparently the World Health Organization announced that Africa is polio free. So a good year for disease control.
Yeah, and that's something that we shouldn't disband going forward. Like,
okay,
maybe not the best year for disease control.
I was like,
a little bit tongue in cheek.
Well, I mean,
in this case,
we did get the vaccine real record time.
Yeah,
and we learned about it, and no Ebola, no polio, and that's amazing. And humans are incredible creatures, and I love humans.
Yeah,
and that's a good transition for the next question.
Okay,
question 2: what do y'all think about the future? The future.
All right. And we purposely left this one open-ended, not like a top 3 type of thing. My first thought is we know the history. We have about 3,000 years of human history. Things are exponentially changing. So like, it's good. Like what we think might happen in 1,000 years could happen in like 40 years. Like things change fast. I have one main thought, and I'll let you go. In Europe, the European Union approved the first artificial heart. So like, say people can live forever, basically. Say you can replace hearts, and like, what would the world look like if like nobody dies of natural causes?
Not good.
Not good.
Not
I mean,
good.
there's a lot of space. There's a lot of
You
space.
still got. You can't replace skin right now, so your skin would look old. But
It's
Right.
That's
Could get over that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
right.
could get over that. If
Like
I
I'm trying. I have zero shame in saying that I am trying to absolutely live as long as I possibly can.
I guess you
why
can
would there be
replace
shame?
skin with like silicone robot parts, but yeah.
Like people say, like
What do you mean
that's a
by
natural part of
what
life.
do you mean by artificial heart though? Like they already have like.
I
machines that do
actually have the article. I mean,
It's
like
kind of has something to do with 3D printing, right? Like they can print the chambers.
it's like
and
mass
stuff.
approved by a government for the first time. The first ever total artificial heart has been approved for sale in Europe, an engineering feat that offers hope to patients awaiting life-saving transplants. Created by the company Carmat, 27-year effort. So it big advances in that. And
So this wouldn't, just to be clear, you're not saying that if you got an artificial heart, like that's not why you don't always die because your heart stops working. There's so many different.
Right,
But you're saying
right.
like if they can do this and they'll be able to do.
Right.
Okay.
like if the technology keeps advancing exponentially and we can replace skin cells, bones, hearts, and essentially,
organs,
so my question
brains.
to that comes to what if people can basically live forever? How does the society like handle that? Like death is part of life. Like everyone that's ever lived has died. Well, I guess that's not true. There are people that are alive, but
Mhm.
that's part of life. And like, what if that's not part of life anymore? How would that look? How would retirement ages? How would like just family structures? Like, you know, usually like the younger kid will take over. Like if people can live forever, how would that affect society? And that I think is interesting. And I don't know the
That'd be
answer.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like your bodies, people's bodies start to deteriorate, and like old people can't move around like they. Imagine if somebody was 400 years old, they're just confined to the bed. I guess I don't know. It's hard to, but I guess if we're throwing out these hypotheticals, then it would be like an able-bodied person at 400. It would be crazy. I agree with you that there's a ton of space. That's one argument I never really understand. People are like, we don't have room for more
It's
people. for like a billion people.
overpopulation. Yeah, like Bill Burr always makes that joke. Like there's too many people.
Yeah,
And
but it's
in
not.
some places there are, New York City and stuff like that. We would have to map out, like we'd have to figure. Okay, in 10 years it wouldn't be a problem. 50 years it wouldn't be a problem. In like 2,000 years there might be too many
500,
people.
yeah.
Then
Maybe. I mean, when you're on a plane and you look down,
there's so much space, dude.
it's almost all just land.
There's so much.
You know what I
space.
mean? There's so
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And that's
But I
just
guess
in
if it's-
America. Like the rest of the
Right.
world, Iceland, like there's so much space. So
Iceland's
I
a
don't think-
funny
I don't- I
example
don't-
because it's very small, but there's a lot of space.
but there's just like countries that we
Iceland,
don't
a lot
think
of-
about.
mhm.
Africa, there's tons of space. I don't think space would be a problem immediately.
Mhm.
It would just be interesting with just even like jobs and family structures.
Well, that's the
like-
thing, because like a big thing about the future is like obviously jobs are being pushed out and automated. So, and something that people are struggling with, and a problem is like where are people? What are people going to do? Like we need to create jobs. We need to find a way to create jobs. And if there's exponentially more people still alive, like
Right.
what's
Right.
going to happen there?
Right. Right.
Um,
that would
so
be right. Jobs would be an issue.
Mhm.
So I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have any other or did you have any like main focus points?
I
got
tried to
two
think-
more.
I was thinking about things that like won't change very much.
Okay,
And
okay.
one thing for me is like I don't see like restaurants ever changing,
neither.
going away that much. Like the way people eat, I don't see how that's going to change because like we don't go to restaurants necessarily because of any reason besides like we like to socialize, we like to be
No
like,
dishes.
sit down, have fun, no dishes, people, and you're just sitting there. Like there's something about sitting and eating with people, sharing a meal with somebody that's nice and we enjoy. So I don't think in 2,000 years that it's going to be like you go into a capsule and you take a pill and like
No.
that's it. I think that restaurants are here to stay.
I agree.
Maybe there's slight innovations, slight variations, but for the most part, I think that that's going to be largely.
Like
the same.
I think retail stores will go away because shopping
Yes.
online is so much more efficient. There's so many things that even movies like that could go
gone.
away because the experience.
I mean, that's
at
almost
home,
going away like now.
right. But out of all those like event people-based businesses, there will always be a place for restaurants.
Restaurants and sports are two things that are going to stay. And
Sports is an
also-
interesting one with the virtual fans and everything like that, and then the at-home experience is so much better. I would put sports more in the category of like movie theaters. Restaurants are in their
No
own
way.
league. I think restaurants are in their
Sure.
own league. Is my point.
This
That's
was
my
a
point.
yeah. The sports was a different one, but I don't think. I mean, sports will change for sure, but the competition and like sports and the like fandom and
Competition,
that stuff,
right,
Yeah,
right.
Will
That
always be.
is
So maybe the
human
sports look
nature.
different. Mm-hmm.
Right. Human nature, watching other people compete in a physical
Right.
way is special. Yeah. Like, right. The experience of watching them might go away, but like, we'll never love watching computers play chess or computers play a sport. We want to see humans play the sport. So that, I agree. There's always going to be an industry for competitive sports.
And then I think that music will be a lot different. Like music will always exist. People love music. It's very,
Right.
very popular. But you're already seeing less like bands and people playing instruments
Dude.
and more computer generated music.
Well,
which
how do you
is a
think they're
bummer.
gonna make their money then? Like, because most of them make
Who?
their money through like bands, like
Dude,
artists. They make their money through concerts and stuff. Like,
Well, they can
Sure.
still have a show.
But it's becoming less popular music.
I think
that's made by
guitars,
instruments,
Oh,
and
that's what you're
drums
saying.
and
Okay,
bass
gotcha.
guitars are going the fuck away.
which is such a shame because these are really, really
guess.
talented people, and the
Oh,
people
yeah.
that are like producing music. Not that they're not talented, but they're just writing songs. They're not.
There'll still
not
be an
ma-
art
they're
of
not-
that. Like, I
I don't think that
all I
guitars
care
are
about is
gonna go
having
away.
all I care about is having music that sounds good. And
Which
like my cousin's in a
To me-
band, and I was like, dude, you should get like a one member that like is electric, like something that's electric. Like they have a classic band.
Mhm.
Not who's the most popular band right now. I mean, Dave Matthews is kind of timeless.
you love.
I mean,
band,
a
I don't
band,
think
a band that
bands
has
were
a
big
bass
this
player,
year.
a band that has a bass player, a drummer, and a guitar player, and maybe one other.
That's a
Killers.
good question. What band like released anything this year that's actually big?
A lot. Tame
just-
Impala. There's a lot.
Band.
But they're
I'm
not-
not talking
big.
about
I'm
music
guessing some
artists.
radio big,
I'm not
yeah.
talking about music artists. I'm talking about bands specifically.
The
People who make
Killers.
their music with instruments.
Right. That is that like the stuff you're talking about? Like
Yeah,
a band like the
Killers.
Killers.
Are they still big?
You. I mean, no band like that is nearly as
Big,
popular as like.
right.
Yeah. Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Like
Is
if you
that-
look at the
that's
top
going-
charts from the 1970s, you got the Rolling Stones,
Of course.
That's what I'm
Aerosmith.
trying to say. Was there any bands on the top? Like,
I don't
know. Look it up.
this year?
Like
I
if
don't
you just
know.
off the top of your head, who would be the top band? Like, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think- I
Is
think that's
Imagine
hard.
Dragons? Like people don't. The
But
top
they have an
music is not
electronic
from
element. Mhm.
bands, right? They have an electronic element. The top music these days is not from
Of course.
bands,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And-
That's kind of the point I was trying to make. It's
right?
It's
And
a
I agree with you
shame.
100%.
To me, it's a shame because, like, it's a different type of talent. If you're Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page, then not only are you writing great music, but you're like creating it
talent.
yourself.
Yeah,
It's it requires a different level of talent when you're playing
Right.
a guitar.
like John
versus-
Mayer's, maybe somebody that's still
Sure.
relevant like that. And like you just love seeing the talent of that person play the guitar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's something soulful about creating music that way versus somebody
yeah.
behind a computer where you're just typing it. You know what I mean?
I understand that.
maybe it's also
Yeah.
a personal preference thing where I'm less inclined to listen to like house. I don't like the EDM stuff. I don't really like house music. And yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be much different. But music is one of the most popular things in the world, so
Yeah,
it's not going anywhere.
away.
It's just going
Right.
to sound different.
It'll evolve a little bit, but yeah. I have I'll start delivery drones, right? Like they're coming. Like I just can't imagine looking up in the sky and seeing a bunch of delivery drones. I don't get how that is going to be executed. Like I love the
Only certain
idea.
cities,
I love
probably.
the idea of delivery drones as far as I can order something and it can get brought right to me immediately. Like you think one day shipping's fast. Imagine half-hour shipping. And I can see people wanting that, the market need for that. And I understand that Amazon is already working on it. And I love the idea of it. But the one part I don't understand is physically, you walk out of the sky, rarely do you see an airplane, but sometimes you see airplanes way up there. Like with how popular this will be based on the market needs, what is the sky going to look like?
Yeah,
That's what I
and
don't get.
sound like. And
Star
also, like,
Wars.
if somebody's bringing a TV to your door, and what if somebody like shoots it down?
But
That's
that
what I was
is
just to
so
say. They're gonna
true.
shoot it down. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen memes. We're going hunting for Christmas presents.
It's gonna be
Like,
like new
doesn't-
pirates, basically, like hunting down drones and stuff.
And I'm sure
It's
they can figure something out with that because I think they have a camera and they can basically get you and then identify you and arrest you. I just can't imagine going up and not seeing the sun because there's like a assembly line of drones in the air, and I don't see how they're gonna get past that.
That's kind of sad.
Then people talk about like flying cars, and obviously, I think in like the 70s, people might have thought that we'd have them by now, and obviously we don't. Whenever that happens, like how do you regulate that? Like there's no, you can't. It's not. You're not on a plane. You're not on a road, so there's no like traffic rules. Everyone's going every which way.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to figure that out, but that would also ruin the sky. Like, I mean, pollution and just looking up and seeing the sun and the blue sky. Like,
also,
Neil deGrasse Tyson says helicopters are actually flying cars, and the problem with the flying cars is that how loud they are and how.
Oh,
like
that's what I was gonna say about drones. Is they're so annoyingly.
I think they could probably, as the technology advances, they could probably eliminate the sound eventually.
Well, it's like they're
can't,
fans,
right?
So you can't really eliminate.
So
that.
maybe some of the answer to this is they're so high up that you don't notice it, kind of like planes. But
then what about planes? They're gonna be running into drones left and right.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like years, like 1,000 years from now, maybe, but it doesn't seem like an efficient, effective, like cost-effective way of replacing the current system of delivery. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem that practical.
I just think it would be for certain things. Like a TV is too big. The way that I understand the current Amazon drones is there's a certain box dimensions, and if the product can fit inside that box and it's less than a certain weight, then you can get that delivered. Like it'd be like I want a 6-pack of beer and it would come, or I just need like.
How can that be cheaper than?
I'll let Amazon worry about those logistics.
It's so limited because they're gonna like charge really high prices for you to get it.
Those logistics can be worked out for sure.
Yeah.
But who would ever pay extra? Yeah, I mean,
dude, again, some people, if you need something that you can't get at a store and you need it right now, people will pay a lot to get that.
Sure, but like, why? I don't know. Maybe I'm not. So you're saying like a drone would be like I order something on Amazon and 25 minutes later it's at my door.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Well then,
and if you don't need it in 25 minutes, then you wouldn't choose that option.
Okay. Sure.
But I just don't understand how the sky's gonna look. I don't know. And the other thing I have is Elon Musk's goal in life. And I love people, and I need to work on this. I love people who have like one big goal in their life. Interplanetary species. Colonizing Mars. Like it's cool to go to New Zealand now and Africa and visit it and like travel. Like what will an interplanetary species look like? I mean, it basically be like two different worlds, or will America have a state on Mars, and then Africa will have a state, or like what will be the governance of it? And the logistics of interplanetary species I don't understand, and I think is interesting.
I don't think anyone, and it's not like we're gonna go there and just put on our jeans and sweatshirt and walk outside on Mars. So like, I guess the point is just to do it, right? Just to have people.
Well, I mean, people talk about global. It's. I think the reason is the existence of human beings for all time.
Right. But like, would the idea
be? What if the world explodes? I mean,
would the idea be for people to evolve to survive on Mars without needing what we have here?
I don't know.
Because otherwise, like, it's a colossal effort and it doesn't really solve the problem. Because if there's a problem here, then I don't know.
I don't see what problems it solves. It's cool to think about. And I am all for, obviously we're in the very, very early stages. We're not even in the first stage, but the existence of human beings, I'm all for, because we can't just think dinosaurs are going away. We don't know what happened before recorded history. And there's no reason to believe that just it helps extend human beings to have be the greatest existence of all time. And like I said before, we're the aliens. Like if we are the ones that start kind of going planet to planet over thousands of years, like that makes human beings the greatest existence of all time. I like that part of it. I like how Bill Maher, one of my favorite people, he's always like, why the hell would we want to go to Mars? Like, let's fix Earth. And I think he has some good points there.
That's what I was kind of getting at. Yeah. Like what's the point? But yeah, cool to think about. I don't know. I think that, the future's exciting to think about. It's depending on if you mean 50 years from now or 5,000 years, obviously it'll be very, very different. But I like to think about the things that will stay the same. Like the restaurant stuff, the things that people...
And like human interaction... If it's through Zoom like this is, I mean, we're interacting but there's do you think there's something special about being in front of a real person?
For sure. I do.
I'm open-minded to...
Well, it depends on what you're looking for.
Like,
Like,
I
if
mean,
you're
I love
dating, this
cuddling
isn't-
and physical touching, right? But right, like, what if
We haven't
like
cuddled in so long though. You know?
Sure,
No, but like,
true.
what about like going to a bar with the boys? You know, like this isn't the
Right.
same.
It's not the same, yeah, but it's pretty close. I mean, I mean, as long as we're humans, we can evolve over a long period of time, but we need interaction. We love competition. Like, we have certain needs that need to be filled, like food, and also I think like a purpose to keep you happy. And I just want to keep humans around. I think we'll be around, and no one's ever like done a good job at predicting the future. Like the Jetsons, right? Like they know
I
we
always
have
think about it.
we basically have even a better version of face to face. Like they had the
Rosie?
TVs. They had
Yeah.
TVs that you can look and call people and like you see their face. We have even better version of that. We have it in our hands. We don't
Was
have
it
the
Rosie?
pill.
Was that her name?
Rosie was the maid,
Yeah, like we kind of got that. We have the
Jetsons-
Roombas.
and
What
like that
years were
was
the
something. That,
Jetsons made? Like, I just want to just observe.
I think
you
it's
mean
70s
like
maybe?
you mean like what year was
60s,
it?
70s?
And
It was
what
made
year were they
before cell
portraying?
phones, right? Yeah.
Right.
Made
So
before cell phones?
Yeah, it was made before.
Jetsons.
The show was made before cell phones. Yeah.
Cell phones have been around for like 15 years,
Right.
20
Right.
years.
Yeah.
So the
So,
Jetsons were.
no one
Yeah.
ever is like perfectly ever predicts the future, and that's cool. So we don't
Mhm.
really know, but I have so much confidence in the future, and I'm very excited about it.
Amen.
And one of my goals, another thing that's human nature, is getting stuck in the way you're used to doing things, and then when things change, not liking it, and being like, that back in my day attitude. I've always made a point to train my brain to not be like that. I want to be one of the first people to at least have an open mind to new things, because talk about living 400 years or whatever. Like the second you get stuck, like the Amish, they're randomly stuck in 1838. Like why? Why don't they accept some technology, not other technologies, and they just picked a period of time and stopped the technology there? Why? It's so stupid. Like I
Right.
always want to be somebody who is open-minded to new things so that I can enjoy the future and not like be like, oh, so much better back in my day. Like, so I think that's a good advice for everyone. Like, be ready for change. Change is good. And a lot of people, human nature, they resist change, and let's not do that.
Embrace it. Yeah, I agree. I can get better at that with some certain things. I mean, I always have an open mind, but there's some things like I sound curmudgeon-y about
Yeah,
like music
yeah.
for one, for sure. Like I don't like Travis Scott for one. Somebody you mentioned. I've tried his music. I've tried all that like Quavo and the what are
Quavo?
they? Yeah, what's
The
what's this-
Migos. The Migos.
Yeah.
Tried that type of music.
They're
All that
alright.
rap, that trap music. Is not for me.
I love it.
And
Dude.
that's fine. I know, and that's fine. It's just,
I even like
not
go out of my way. Like, remember when was it K-pop or the like South Korean like
You try to
insane
listen to it?
like
BTS,
yeah BTS. When they were number one on the charts, I listened to it, and I mean I love that, but
It's better than
I almost like pretend like I like new things on purpose to start.
Right.
Something's new, I pretend like I like it right away just to be not curmudgeon-y and like back in my day.
And I don't do that. And like if I don't like it, I don't like it. If I like it, I like it. There's new music that I do like. If it's like there's a song, Sean, you had on your Instagram. It was like morning. You got into a car and there's something playing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, how do you listen to this? Like
it
it was just like
guillotine.
it was
It's such a
so
good-
bad.
I
It
love
was
that
so
song.
bad.
And actually,
And
at
I
my
tried,
wedding, when we were hanging out with everyone, before I put that song on, and I was so pumped to like play it for everyone, and like pop our heads to it. I think it was before you came, Brandon. And a couple like Menyo, one of my friend, they're like, "Dude, turn this shit off." Like they hated it. Like that
So
song.
bad.
I don't think that song is necessarily about future. I think that's just like that song. You got to get into it. It's like, don't.
Well, I'm not saying it's
But,
about the future, but like the current state of rap music is, I would say overall pretty bad.
I think it's
that's-
awesome.
Maybe that's not. Maybe that's a curmudgeon. Maybe it's just my taste.
I have a
I don't like it.
prediction that like all music
Ooh.
is just gonna turn to just sounds, not words. We're just gonna basically listen to,
Whatever gets the dopamine in my brain and I enjoy listening to, I'm for. If it's
like words are
it's
just gonna start
and it
mushing
sounds good,
into
I
the
like it.
sound.
I like it. And I guess you're like the guitar thing. I get the classicness of a guitar,
Soulful.
but like I don't care though about the guitar. Like fuck it. I mean, yes, guitars are awesome, and but as long as you can portray that in another way, then do the new thing. Like, and that might be like I have no reason to have a connection to guitars. Like,
What do you mean?
like just because guitars are always have been, I'm not connected to them. I'm not connected to anything. I'm not connected to driverless cars. I'm not connected to Instagram. I'm not connected. If there's something better, I'll immediately lose my loyalty to it. Like I just want the best thing.
Why would it be like that's the argument? How is that better? If it's
I mean, if you can make it, I mean,
that's the question.
If you can remake the sounds of guitars with some type of electric stuff, fine. Like,
but then imagine go to a concert and like a guy playing the guitar versus somebody sitting behind a keyboard. Like that's objectively better in my opinion. But again,
fair. But then I think concerts will be more lights and yes, a live show has to have a visual element. Mm-hmm. And like Drake, I've seen Drake like has a big stage and he puts like a big iPhone on the stage and like dances on it. Like they'll have to keep making live performances entertaining in different ways if it's not going to be just the guys playing. And it's probably better than the 5 guys standing there. Like
I don't know. I'd rather see some dude shredding a guitar solo than watch Drake dance on a giant iPhone. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
I mean, I'm
who
looking
knows?
to the future. I mean, I'm a big Dave guy. I love going to Dave concerts.
I hope that. But and it's also like collaboration. Instead of one guy behind a computer, there's 5 people. You know what I mean?
I hear you. But I automatically start liking things that are new on purpose, and then I'll backtrack rather than having to have it impress me. I like it first because I think that's good. I think it's good for your brain.
You should go in with a more open mind and let your actual opinions form things rather than going in with a preconceived notion. But
I'm going in with a preconceived notion that I like it.
All right.
All right.
You do you, Sean. You do you. All right. Well.
Okay. So this next segment, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whew.
All right. So I'll set this up. Something I've been fascinated about lately is the complexity of how people write TV shows. I think everybody takes it for granted how much thought goes into it. And we, over the next 3 podcasts, are going to take 15 minutes now, 15 minutes next episode, 15 minutes in the last episode, and we are going to be a writer's room. And I don't know how this is going to go, but we are going to create a sketch, a skit. We're not creating a movie. We're not creating like an ongoing TV show. Like character development isn't going to be as important because it's like more of a sketch, right? And the 3 of us are going to put our brains together and we are going to write a sketch. And we're not allowed to talk about it. We can think about it, but we can't talk about it except for these 45 minutes. And we're going to see what we can come up with, and we're going to do it live on the podcast. And I'm excited.
Wait, we could crash and burn.
We can't.
I think it's likely.
I mean, outside of the podcast. Like we got to.
Part of the part of it is like
magic here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Part of it is to do it in front of the audience and see how this goes. So this could be a done.
None of us have ever done anything like this. We don't know how this is supposed to go. So it'll be an interesting case study. 3 idiots. Okay. Well, besides Brandon, nobody's been part of a writer's room. Yeah. Do you think? I think we should have somebody like mediate. Somebody's got to be like the leader of the writers' room. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just going to be at least to start.
I mean,
right?
I'll it's the Sean Lowery show. I will. Okay. I'll be the one that can if all three of us have a different thing, like we have to pick one to move forward.
Yep.
You guys give me permission to be in charge of that.
I want to go first though.
Okay.
Because I can start off really like.
All right, so we're gonna start the timer.
Bad, so it's just gonna be over. So.
All right. Boom. Start the timer.
All right, so my sketch goes, Sean, after the podcast is over, he goes to the bathroom, unzips his pants, and a bag of Coke falls out into the toilet. David gets a call from Nico saying he lost his phone last night. He's at his job using a vintage phone for no reason. I'm being OCD, taking down all the pieces of art behind you after the podcast, and I'm showing all the pieces of art, showing the snowman, the elephant, so people are going to get a laugh saying, like, why is there, like, a lizard behind you? Okay, and then David calls Sean, and David goes like, Nico said that we should have a Zoom meeting on New Year's where we're all drinking and doing drugs. Sean brings out the Coke bag from the toilet and says, yeah, I'm going to do 2,021 lines for 2021. and then David goes, well, that could be worse than last year on New Year's. And then there's a flashback where Sean is sleeping in his Tesla, talking during his sleep, saying coke, weed, strippers, and then the Tesla takes him to the strip club, and then he awakes at like 5 a.m. at the strip club, and strippers are knocking on his car thinking it's an Uber. He offers to take them home, and he has like 4 strippers in his car, and one of them takes like Sean's pants off and then staples a bag of Coke inside of his pants and says Happy New Year's.
Okay. All right. We're on a time. We're on a time thing. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me pitch. You got a pitch, David? All right.
I do. Yeah.
All right. You go. Do your pitch.
All right. I had a couple ideas. So the one would be, so we can take it two ways. It's either, so my baby. I feel like I talk about my baby quite a bit, and I feel like I've gotten to use it as maybe an excuse, whatever you want to call it, to get out of certain things. I had to miss your wedding, but I could be talking about everything. I get invited to a party, and I just can't do it. I got to take care of the baby. Lauren's working, and then all of these different interactions of me getting out of things because of the baby, and turns out that it's a baby doll, and there is no baby, and it's all just funny. Been an elaborate ruse. Or we can do a commercial for like rent a baby. So like, why go on Wayfair and spend $10,000 on a brand new baby, or why like uproot your life if you need to get out of a social interaction, a social function, if you have a party you don't want to go to, or you want to cut lines. People afford you so much leeway when you have a baby. So come grab the baby so it could be a commercial like that.
All right, I like it. I think we can. All right, so here's my idea. I think it's the best one, and we can incorporate some of this stuff. All right, you guys ever seen the movie Rat Race?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It's okay. So I'm thinking
that's old school.
All right, I'm thinking the podcast ends and we get something, and I'm thinking since the song is Diamonds, like someone says to us like, "Hey, in South Carolina there is a bag of diamonds, and the three of you are racing for it." And then so then David goes, "I have no shot," and then because I'm too far away, and then I say, "I hate getting stuff for free. I don't want to win the lottery. I don't want it." And then I say, "Brandon, you can't go because you're on the clock." So then the podcast like kind of ends, and you immediately jump on your Peloton. And like I was thinking about actually the filming of it, like you're just like on your Peloton the whole time, and like we could like maybe superimpose like different states in the back, and then like the plot kind of forgets about you for a minute, and then me and Brandon are playing pig in here, and I'm like, dude, we're not doing this. This is stupid. And like I kind of shoot a shot on my Nerf hoop, and the ball rolls away, and Brandon goes in the other room. I sprint and get in my car to go get it, and then meanwhile, like every little while, 45 seconds or something, we go back to you on your Peloton, and it says like Maryland, and you're getting closer, and then I am in the main lead because I am in a huge head start in front of Brandon, and then I fall. Actually, funny as you said this, Brandon, and then I fall asleep in my Tesla because it's driverless, and I like go past the point, and I like miss it, and then I was thinking eventually like David wins, and like even though he has no chance, but then I was thinking like maybe in my car I could pass by you, like you see me sleeping and I see you on the bike, but like a rat race thing where all of us try to like go get these diamonds, and then I don't know, we'd have to work out like Brandon's plot. I was thinking maybe like Brandon would somehow be in the lead, and then there's like a free samples, and Brandon goes to eat the food, and like and then I pass him or something like that.
It's like the tortoise and the hare. So it's like rat race.
It's like rat race, and that's like the plot. Like we're all racing to something, and I just thought since you had the Peloton, that could be easy filming and kind of funny. Like because in Rat Race, the movie, like I don't know, someone's like behind the whole time, and they obviously have no shot, but then something happens and they like have them being first. And I thought it was actually something that could be like film, like if you try to produce this on like low quality.
Mine's filmable because we could just like.
Well, you have a strip club and stuff like that.
We gotta order strippers. That's all.
Brandon started with that idea, and he's like, "How do I incorporate strippers into this?"
I mean, yeah, but so, all right, so now what? Like, I feel like we can incorporate your guys' ideas with the rat race thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yours was kind of more of like an infomercial sketch. Yours and Brandon's was a story, and mine was a story. I think we go with like some type of story.
Okay.
And maybe you can like somehow.
Mine's not really a plot. It's just how the bag of Coke got into your pants. It's like you're basically wearing the same pants from a year ago, and you just never. And realized.
I'm wearing the same.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we can incorporate some of that in the story, or the plot of How to Get the Diamonds. I mean, so we gotta make a.
So let's just
a
use the rat
baseline.
race one.
Should we
then.
use the rat race? I think that can be. Everyone can incorporate their ideas, and it's like it's a storyline, a race to something. So it like kind of covers the big picture thing. So I guess like maybe one of the first things we can decide is what are we racing for? Where is it? And who introduces it to us?
The diamonds probably have to be not diamonds. Like there has to be a misunderstanding there, right? I think that like that would be funny if like we go through all this effort, we get there, and then like the bag of diamonds, we either misheard it or it's a different. You know what I mean? It's like completely not worth it.
It depends who.
If I'm biking down from
like who gives us this assignment? Like it has to be someone like interrupts the podcast. Like in Rat Race, it was a bunch of rich people. Like who?
Like Elon Musk will like tweet something out like I hid some diamonds.
But if everyone knows, I think it's funny. It's just us three know.
Okay, gotcha.
Like it's just for us three.
So who would tell us three basically?
I was maybe thinking Kanye just because, and the only reason I thought Diamonds is because the intro song we have is Diamonds Are Forever. So I was thinking like Kanye's like
did he stumble upon our podcast?
Like Brandon, Sean, and Hecker. Like I was looking to sue you guys for copyright infringement.
I saw you.
Oh yeah,
I was going to sue you for copyright infringement, but I recognized you. I saw you, and you were crying along with me when I was talking about the A word. And then anyway, I'm feeling crazy today, and I put a box of diamonds in a safe in North Carolina or something like that.
When you saw Kanye like in Charleston, like what if like he like dropped a piece of paper after he was leaving, you picked it up?
That's not bad.
Like a treasure map.
That's not bad. Like
and that's how you only know. That's how you only know, and then you tell us. Like
and you kind
of like Goonies, I guess. Like
the big reveal is you're going to open that envelope on the podcast. I'm like, what is this message Kanye had? They fell out of his pocket.
Okay, so Kanye. Okay, because I was thinking one of like the original jokes would be, this isn't real. We don't care. And then I sprint to it, and like we all end the podcast, and we end it, and like we're all like, we're not going to go after this. We're not going to do it. And then the second it ends, you hop on the Peloton. I do that trick with Brandon. I think that part only works if it's like, if it's a secret message, we can all like kind of do it together and find it. It doesn't matter. But it's like, if it's a race, it means one of us gets it and the other ones don't.
Well, we can still, if it's a treasure map, we can still be like, I mean, it's obviously bullshit. Like, there's no way that's real. Yeah, or like, something.
It can't be a secret note because that has, it's got to be something of value. Like, you said if Kanye leaves like a secret message or something, it's got to be something of value.
What do you mean a secret? I don't know. I don't understand.
I thought one of you said that. I don't know. A treasure map is a better term.
Yeah, like fell out of his pocket, and like it was unintentional. But there's like a map that says that there's diamonds here, and if we read it, we're
so the race is to the map.
The X, treasure.
But, yeah,
it says like treasure hunt.
But then we need the map. So like,
right, you found the map at the Kanye West thing because he left, and you saw something fall out of his pocket. And on the podcast, you're like, big reveal. This fell out of Kanye's pocket. I wanted to do it, so you. And then we look at it. You're like,
and you guys both maybe like take screenshots real quick. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess the one plot hole is like, why wouldn't I if I have gone for it before? If I care so much.
Well, because you haven't opened it. Because you're like this, I need something exciting for the podcast. It kind of feels like it's been a little bit.
There should be like a seal on it or something.
Okay, perfect. So we open it up. I don't know what it is. It could be anything, and it's a treasure map.
Right, and we're like,
okay, that's good. All right, so that's how it comes to be. So we all learn the information at the same time that there's treasure at a certain location, and then one of the first jokes is we say we don't care, and then we all care after the podcast ends. Okay, all right, that's progress. So then we all have our own storylines, and okay, so where should the treasure map say that it is?
It's got to be in Charleston or somewhere in South Carolina where it doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking like South Carolina because then to the audience, you're eliminated.
Right.
And we also think you're eliminated too because it's in South Carolina, so it's basically between me and Brandon, and we don't even think you're looking, and that brings humor into it when you're actually racing down. Okay, so let's say it's in. I'm thinking northern South. Charleston is the farthest south in South Carolina. Maybe you want to know what's north in South Carolina is Clemson. That's just a landmark.
Yeah.
So maybe it's at the University of Clemson, which is 4 hours from us.
But,
It's 4 hours from me and Brandon, which is still far enough for shenanigans to happen along the way, but it still eliminates you because it's like 12 hours, 13 hours from you.
Right.
So all right, so the spot will just be the University of Clemson is where the treasure is.
And what
It says
and what
Dabo's
do we-
office. It's like
or the Rock, the Clemson Rock. What is the treasure ultimately when we get there? Or do we figure that out later?
I think like
Yeah.
Kanye's gonna be there like with diamonds in his hand.
Like,
It's gonna be hard to get him. His
if it's-
schedule's so busy.
If if it's a treasure map, that means we don't know.
Right. But when we get
And,
there,
like,
it's like
That's why I kind of like.
it's actually
knowing what
a
it
football
is.
scholarship, and Dabo is paying us in diamonds to play for Clemson.
But we don't have any eligibility.
it'd be funny if we like talked about like, I mean,
I like knowing that it's something of value because then all the motive for us to get there is like we're gonna be fucking rich.
but we can assume that and talk about like, well, I mean, Kanye is a pretty level-headed
Okay.
person. Like he's not going to put anything of value there and try to convince each other of
Okay.
it, and then go through all this work. We get there and it's like some dumb shit.
So
some
one
dumb,
of
like,
so one of the flips at the
inspirational
end.
quote.
One of the flips at the end could be whatever it is.
Right, and it's like something completely not worth any of our time, even a 4-hour drive. It's like
Okay.
a blueprint for Yeezy, or like just some stupid shit that he talked about in the Joe Rogan podcast. It's like blueprints for utopia, and we can just literally
Okay.
throw it out.
Okay.
Um,
So like we can think about the logistics of that later, but
Yeah.
if we decide on it's the end, it's actually something that's stupid.
right.
But the race is the fun part, and we all think it's valuable. We have to think it's valuable because
Any like
Then it makes the race
titles
worth it.
for the name of it? You think?
I don't think we're there yet. All
I
right,
just
so
want to like throw something out.
so we got how we're gonna race after it, and this is the writer's room element, and we kind of got the end. It's gonna be a letdown,
2 minutes.
but now the logistics of the race is the actual where the writing comes in.
Mhm.
I was thinking the reason I thought of the Peloton was because easy filming if we were going to try to
Mhm.
produce it. Like some of the things in your thing, Brandon, seemed like they would be hard to produce. And we did say, and for the audience listening, we
Like,
thought
s-
if we
we can
could
use
maybe
stock
produce
footage,
it,
I
if
don't
we
know.
could maybe produce a cheap thing of this, it might be funnier. And right, I was thinking he could be on his Peloton and like in the background, we could
Progressively
put-
getting sweatier.
yeah, and like it could say like Maryland, Washington, North Carolina. Like you're getting closer, like, and then we could put like different things in the background. So that's what I was kind of thinking for your role. It's just like I guess it's easy acting and there's not that much dialogue
we
and
need
stuff
like
like that.
like lines for him, like when it cuts back to David. He
I'm
needs to say
thinking just
something
no
like-
lines, like
I feel like David needs at least.
like
a
it's
couple,
funny. It's funny that you're eliminated to the audience
guys
in the
are going
beginning.
through your
You're
thing,
eliminated
yeah.
to us. We know we're closer, and like every little while, it'll just clip back to you, and you're like, dun, 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 and like I don't know. I just thought that'd be funny. It does eliminate some of your dialogue.
I'm
or
good
something
with
like
that.
You're good with
No,
that. I mean,
I think you're right. Rather than me like talking to myself, it would just be me trucking along, getting
Yeah.
progressively sweatier and
compressively
and, like, more
sweatier.
tired. Yeah.
and like the audience forgets that you're there, and we have to make the audience forget. I mean, it's easier to do in a 3-hour movie than a 6-minute, but like
There needs
just
to be like
the
a slow mo shot.
appropriate amount of time to just no context, just clips back to you, and you're in a state closer.
Mhm.
So that's kind of yours, and then we can decide like how it gets. Maybe we all get there at the same time or something, but then me and Brandon, we can have some shenanigans along the way. My idea was, I act like I don't care, and I sprint out, and I'm in my Tesla, and I put it in driverless mode and fall asleep.
And
I
then you
pa- and I
charge your
pass
car.
it, and I pass it. Oh, I have to charge my car.
And then you have to charge a car afterwards.
So I was
One
like,
thing-
my
one
joke
thing,
there was the
Sean-
Tesla would make me like either miss it or slow me up somehow.
One thing, Sean, you could like lock me in the bathroom,
Time's up.
and I
Lock
try
you in
to
the
get,
bathroom. That's funny.
and I
Time's
try to
up.
get out
Okay.
that window, and I try
That's
to get out
funny.
that window.
Time's up.
Yeah.
Time's up.
Put a pin in it.
All right.
Right.
That was
I
some
think we're onto
progress.
something.
All right. So
The next time we do this, we'll have to summarize what we
Right.
just did
Quickly.
and then we'll start.
okay,
right off. Yeah.
okay, all right. Okay, all right. That was fun.
Cool. All right. Cool.
All right. So that's an experiment on the Sean Lowery show, and
Imagine
do
we
this.
did that for a year. Like we could like actually make something.
I mean, right? Real writers' rooms have more than 45 minutes. The hardest thing is like a TV show because you don't know if you're gonna get picked up for another season, so you don't know if you need to write in things for next season. But all right,
true.
that was fun. Whew. Okay.
Oh gosh, what's next?
Next segment is trivia.
All right.
Round 1 of trivia was me versus Brandon. I smoked him. Round 2 of trivia was me versus Hecker. And Brandon's punishment was he had to sing Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which was pretty funny. My punishment was I had to wear the suit. And over the past week, Brandon was re-editing the podcast and told me that I was wrong, or he was wrong, and I actually won. We went over it. It was a very close game. We basically tied, and you beat me in overtime. So now I'm the host. I have the questions. Brandon versus Hecker, and loser, right at the end of this, before David's videos of the week and before Brandon's big bites, has to dump water on their head. Okay.
Woo.
All right. I have pop culture, sports, and history. We're going to go in that order. And I have A and B questions. So,
My heart says A.
all right.
All right,
Do you
give 'em
approve that? Do you approve that Brandon gets A?
Give him a
Okay. And I actually have a little, like I'm keeping.
tally sheet.
And guess what's going to come in handy here? The old pencil.
Number 2.
Okay. All right. So Brandon's A. Hecker's B. And let's go.
I need to see your cup of water, David.
Yeah. Let's see your guys' waters.
I mean, I can't show you that.
That's
There's
pretty big.
stuff in it.
That's
Yeah.
big. And Brandon's got a big one. All right. Okay. So we'll start
That's what
with,
she said.
we'll go every other. A and B. We're starting with pop culture. And we're starting with Brandon.
All right.
Question 1. Brandon.
Yeah.
Who was the drummer for the Beatles?
Ringo Starr.
Boom. David. What are the names of the 5 family members in The Simpsons? First names.
Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, Margaret, a.k.a. Maggie.
Boom.
I would have not gotten that.
Correct. Really? I was trying to like.
Damn, I should have
Think.
gotten.
Okay.
Should've gone
It
A.
would have been a steal. Yeah, it should have been A. Okay, Brandon.
Yeah.
What fictional town does SpongeBob SquarePants live in?
I got 30 seconds, right?
10. 8.
I'm just gonna say Under the Sea. Like,
6. Incorrect. Hecker for the steal.
He doesn't wear anything up top, but he looks really nice and trim in his bikini bottom.
Bikini Bottom. Correct.
oh my gosh.
Steal for Hecker.
All right.
Okay. Now to Hecker. To David. Question number 2 in pop culture for you is the art festival Burning Man takes place in what U.S. state? Burning Man.
Utah?
Incorrect.
I'm
Brandon?
gonna say it's Nevada.
Correct. Brandon with the steal to even the game up 2-2. Okay, now this is to Brandon. Last question in pop culture for you. What is the name of Michelle Obama's 2018 memoir? #1 best-selling book. What was the title of the book?
Holy hell! Fuck.
I mean, you either know or you don't. 10.
I don't. I just don't
Okay.
know it. Yeah.
David? It's a one word. Or
Is it Becoming?
Becoming. Correct.
Michelle Obama? Yeah,
Michelle
it is.
Obama.
Okay.
Yeah, Becoming.
I didn't know if it was called Becoming or Becoming Michelle Obama.
It's called Becoming. All right. I mean, I would have given you Becoming Michelle Obama because, like, the title of the book says Becoming Michelle Obama.
Right.
And it's kind of like a play. The answer is Becoming. If you said Becoming Michelle Obama, that would have been correct too. Because on the title, it says Becoming, and the bottom it says Michelle Obama, who's the author. So, all right. 3-2, David. Now, to David, your last question in pop culture is, how many movies are there in the film series The Godfather?
3.
Final answer?
No. 4.
Incorrect. The answer was 3. Oh, fuck. I forgot about the steal.
Yeah. So
Do you have another pop culture? Yeah, so what do we do there?
You gotta make a new. You gotta make a new.
I can make up a
question
new
up, Sean.
question.
Yeah, you gotta make it up.
I can make up a
Just
new
as
question.
just the same difficulty as that one.
Um,
Well, that one was kind of easy, but you made him like think.
I
twice.
did. I
Yeah,
said
maybe
final
something else.
answer.
I thought maybe
Uh,
there was like a cheap, they
right.
do like The Lion King 1.5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be the same difficulty as that. Like.
I mean, these. I would actually. I was looking through these. I really think like they're all similar difficulty level.
Pop culture.
Okay. All right. Give me 2
Like
seconds.
something Shelby would know.
I mean, I'm not gonna make it easy on purpose. Okay. Brandon, your question is name all this. I should have had a backup. Name all the Kardashian sisters by first
Kim,
names. There's 4 you need to name.
I just who the fuck knows this? Chloe.
A lot of people.
Chloe.
So you have Chloe and Kim, and there's 2 more.
I'm not into that. Like, I just don't know. Like, that's actually more difficult than The Godfather. Whatever.
I mean, Hacker, do you accept the level of ease? Do you know? You don't get a steal here because this was a steal.
I know more than.
There's 4.
I know at least one more. There's Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian.
Sorry, there's 5.
That's like way more
What's the
difficult
older one's
than
name?
Godfather.
It's
but-
Kim.
Hold on. Kim, Chloe, not Karen. I don't know. I know they're all K's.
Kim, Cohen, Courtney, and then Kendall and Kylie Jenner.
Courtney.
I thought that was relatively easy.
See, I thought it was difficult because their last name Jenner does it. Like, I know they're sisters, but they're half sisters. Like that could have been a trick that could have been a trick question. Like,
I mean, you only got one. I don't know. What do we? I mean, if you want to give them an easier one.
No. All right, 3-2 Hacker going into the next round.
all right, this is an asterisk already.
I mean, if you would have got 3 and said I didn't know the Kendall sisters, like I would have.
well, I was thinking it was a trick question.
I ruined this by giving away 4, huh?
Yeah.
I should have just gotten that. I mean, I knew that answer. I don't know how I got that wrong, but you got in my head.
You get half a point. I don't know if that adds up.
We'll see.
3-2, David. 3-2, David.
All right.
Let's see where this goes. All right.
All right.
3-2, David. All right. So this question is to Brandon. Sports. We're in sports now. Brandon's A. So who is credited with inventing the sport of basketball?
My head's saying Naismith, like Naismith.
Correct.
Okay.
Damn.
Correct. Dr. James Naismith. I'll give you the last name. And all right, 3-3.
I had to think hard on that one.
Yeah, that was correct. That was absolutely right. Okay. Sports, David. Barry Bonds holds the record for most home runs in MLB history. How many home runs? Why are you laughing?
700.
Is that hard, you think? It's like a famous number, you know, because it was always chasing the Hank Aaron and
763.
incorrect. Brandon for the steal.
My head says 730 for some reason.
Incorrect. 762.
Oh
my God.
And I almost ruined it. I have to remember that there's a steal, and I will not make that mistake again. I promise. That was yeah.
I mean,
they're very close. Very close.
Those questions.
Okay.
It's crazy level of difficulty
You think?
in these 2 questions. I mean,
All right, the other one's
compared to
easier.
Naismith,
I mean, we're adults. We should know these if we are.
It's a famous number. It's a fair question. Okay.
Naismith, yeah.
To
I mean,
Brandon.
it's a fair question, but it's a little
Brandon.
a little bit harder.
To Brandon. Who is the all-time NFL leader in career touchdowns? This is rushing and receiving, not passing.
Not. Why am I thinking 2 things? I don't. Emmitt Smith.
Incorrect.
Then that's the other one.
David
Jeez.
for the steal.
All-time leader. All right, so it's not Emmitt Smith.
Can I steal the steal again?
No.
Okay.
Is it Walter Payton?
Incorrect.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice is the answer.
I knew it was like top. I was like,
208 touchdowns.
You kept saying rushing, and I was like, Emmitt
I didn't
Smith
keep
was
saying
one.
rushing. I said rushing
You
and
said
receiving.
rushing and receiving. Yeah.
Right, like not passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay. To David. Which former NFL quarterback had the nickname Broadway Joe?
Joe Namath.
Correct. 4-3, David. To Brandon. The last World Cup was in 2018. Who won? Ten.
Brazil.
Incorrect. David for the steal.
Netherlands?
Incorrect.
Germany.
That's Incorrect also. So
Who was it?
France
Belgium?
beat Croatia.
What the fuck?
Like,
Watch that.
here's the thing: America wasn't in it, so like I feel like Americans didn't pay that much attention. Germany won the one before that, and that was in 2014. Okay, last sports question to David. Which two men's tennis players are tied with the all-time Grand Slam champions with 20 champions? They both have 20
Fuck,
Grand Slam titles. Who are the two men's tennis players?
Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal.
Correct.
All right. I didn't know if Joker's gotten up there yet. Djokovic.
Oh, Djokovic, he is up there, but he's
Nadal.
not.
You know how Nadal's gotten up there is with all those French Opens. All those. He's good on the clay.
I didn't even know that actually. Okay, so 5-3, David, going into the final round history, which I thought when I was making these questions would be the hardest, but they're definitely all fair. And I mean, I know them all. I'm a history nerd a little bit, but they're fair questions. Okay, so Brandon's up. In World War II, which three countries made up the Axis powers, the bad guys?
Japan, Germany, and Austria.
Incorrect. To David.
Italy. He missed Italy.
You have to say all three.
Japan, Germany, Italy.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I should have known that. I mean,
Fair question, right?
yeah.
Mussolini was was like Hitler's role model. He was the first guy. Okay. To David, history. Which famous World War II figure said the following quote? We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
Winston Churchill?
Correct. 7-3. To Brandon. How many years did FDR serve as the president of the United States?
12?
Correct. Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay. To David. Abe Lincoln was the president in the North of the Civil War. Who was the president of the Confederacy?
Oh, fuck.
Was it Grant?
Incorrect. He was no. He was the general of the North.
The North?
But yeah.
Or the,
Yeah.
Let me
yeah.
have it. Let me get a
Incorrect
chance
to Brandon.
Okay, let me. Andrew Johnson?
Incorrect.
Robert E. Lee?
Nope. Jefferson Davis.
Oh.
You guys know him?
Yeah, like, yeah.
No, Andrew Johnson was the president after Lincoln, so he was on the side of the North.
All right, so what score?
It is
7-4?
7-4. 7-4, David.
Last. Okay.
Okay. History to David. Or no, to Brandon.
No. Is it? Oh, yeah.
It's to Brandon.
Last questions, right?
These are the last two questions. To Brandon.
So I can't win, so, like.
Just answer the questions, but mathematically not looking great.
Actually, it would be tied. Never mind. Anyway.
Just end with confidence. Who knows?
Whatever.
Who was the first American president to represent the Republican Party?
Andrew Jackson?
Incorrect. To David.
TJ?
Thomas Jefferson?
Yeah.
Incorrect. The correct answer is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln.
It took that long for the.
Yeah, 16th president was the first Republican president. All the first couple guys, they were called the Democratic Republican Party. They didn't have parties.
Yeah.
George Washington said, "Hey guys, no parties." Okay, to David.
We didn't listen to him.
Put these historical figures in order from the earliest to the latest.
What the fuck?
Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte, Christopher Columbus, Alexander the Great. Put them in chronological order from first to last.
All right. Genghis Khan. Alexander. No. Hold on. All right.
Four of them.
Yeah. Genghis Khan, Christopher Columbus, Alexander the Great, Napoleon.
Incorrect.
Say the 4 names again.
The 4 names are Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte, Christopher Columbus, Alexander the Great.
I'm saying Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Christopher Columbus, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Correct. So, that was a close game. Final score, 7-5.
I'm just
David
happy
with
that
a victory.
I'm happy that
I am
the
too.
question you ruined didn't come into play.
Me too. So, 7-5. David wins. Oh yeah, I was gonna pop this for the winner. Congratulations, David. Oh shit. Yo, that was way
That was like a gunshot.
that was way louder than I thought, dude.
It was mostly
All
off
right, I
screen.
lost.
I know. If I know to know, that was that crazy. All right, Brandon, dump that water on your head.
Watch the mics.
You're taking your hat on? Yeah. Don't ruin the equipment.
That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's enough.
Dude, that confetti was wild. All right. So, of this round robin trivia, by 1 overtime question,
What was it?
David's the champion. Well, I'm just saying you beat me in overtime, and then I
right,
beat
right,
Brandon,
right,
and
right.
you beat Brandon. So, congratulations. That's why you got the
Can I say
confetti
a
pop.
dirty joke?
Sure.
Hopefully it's related.
No, I'm just gonna. Never mind.
Just
no.
a random.
there's
No,
three
I
guys-
want to hear it.
Nope.
Come on. You look like what?
No. Well, I'm not gonna say a gay joke, so I was gonna say it looks like a woman like squirted all over me. But
The woman squirt besides for like porn. All right, yeah, that would be wild if that was the case. And it looks like more like he got pissed on by like a drunk guy or something. But woo! All right, trivia is complete. And
I'm like that's 0-2. I'm 0-2.
you're 0-2.
Like,
You were closer.
I'm the only
with him
person who
than you
played
were with
twice,
me.
right? I'm the only person who played.
No,
twice.
we all played twice.
No, we all did.
Oh, okay.
Round robin, a pure round robin. So next segment, David. Video of the week. Woo!
All right. Well, I have a few this week. All right, let's get right into it, shall we?
We shall.
All right, so we'll start with numero uno. Share. So tonight we're recording this on New Year's Eve? Right?
Yes.
A lot of people. Sean just did a small one. A lot of people do fireworks. I've had a firework video already, but I can't get enough of people like misfiring fireworks and having them just explode unexpectedly. So
Okay.
if you're gonna do them, use them responsibly. Do not have this happen.
The car
One of my
alarm.
favorite videos
The
of all
car
time.
alarm helps with like the crazy aftermath.
Dramatic. You
Yeah.
also see the like one of the mortars like flying ricochet off the car. So watch the car right in the foreground.
Okay.
That's where the I think that's where the thing goes.
Dude, I didn't even like know they could do that.
It,
That's
it
a
was
huge
supposed
firework.
to go higher. It was supposed to go higher.
What
or
much
like,
higher? I would assume.
Way higher. But that's a huge firework regardless. That's not like, a
Like,
Roman
it-
candle.
It didn't get lit on the ground, so it like shot up a little bit.
I think it just misfired.
Yeah.
So in Iceland, for New Year's in Iceland, I should have shared this video, but like everyone can get their hands on commercial grade fireworks. So you look around the city of Reykjavik and literally 360 degrees, you see hundreds, if not thousands of fireworks like that going off. And it's amazing. But every now and then they'll misfire. I don't know how dangerous it is. Unless it like explodes and you're standing on it, you could like probably blow up your foot or
Right.
something. But
Right. Like if that hits you, are you dead or like is it
if
like
if like one
air?
of those things, you might get burnt.
right?
You know what I mean? But I don't think that it's that dangerous. I mean, it's very dramatic.
Most
but
of
if
the
you're-
injuries from fireworks are like with people their hands like right on the lighting spot. Like the guy, what was it, Jason Pierre-Paul in the NFL?
Yep.
oh yeah, he blew his finger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So having a good career too.
That's a good one.
He is, yeah. All right, cool. So that was number one.
Good thing he wasn't like a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's very true. All right, this is number two. I love anyone who rides these like mobility scooters. there's kind of like a trend online, at least there was, of videos like this. They think they're invincible, and like they'll try to ride them up escalators or whatever. But this one always makes me laugh. She's like in the middle of the road.
She goes on, she just keeps going.
She just powers right through it.
Like, what does she?
What
does she think? Yeah, like
what is she thinking? She's
she
going full
blind?
speed at this thing. Going full speed. They think they're invincible. I swear to God.
She didn't even duck forward. She's just like, I'm just gonna take it.
But she took it like a champ.
Like, did she miscalculate, thinking that was higher than it was?
I think that she just thought like, I'm on this scooter. People,
Nothing can
because
stop me.
when you're on the scooter, like socially, you are invincible because people just let you get away with murder. Nobody feels the need to say something if you're being rude or like over aggressive with them. So they just think they're on cloud nine. They're invincible. She's in the middle of the road. First of all, you're not supposed to drive, and that thing was moving. I've never seen something
that thing was
move that
fast. That was fast.
I've never seen that.
That was a good one.
All right, and then this is, I don't know if you guys remember this play. This was years ago, but all right. So just look at this play.
All right. So what's like
fourth down?
All right. Fourth down
situation. Fourth down. I don't know if it's a close
4th
game.
and 3. It looks like 4th and 3.
On their own. 37. So
it's a punting
obviously
position.
It's a punt situation, right?
Yeah.
So they're ready to punt, and here comes the best.
So they
trick
come
play
out
of
in
all
punt
time.
formation.
Yep.
Okay.
And then here comes the best trick play of all time.
Yeah. Now we've got on a 4th down and 3. You got Griff Whalen ready to take the snap. He'll snap it actually.
I know it's gonna happen. It's very dumb
Flag is down.
because they just like took out like just the thought process that those people are fast off the line of scrimmage. Like they just did not think about that.
What were they doing? What do you mean? Like, what could they possibly have been thinking about?
Brandon, say that again. What do you think?
Griff Whalen.
So they thought that those people in the line of scrimmage would like just not go forward. Like those people are running like 4.3 40s. They're gonna like this happens in football all the time. They jump.
Was he gonna run it?
I think that's what he was gonna do, and they just thought like those people were just
5-on-1?
not gonna like.
No chance. No chance they ever
And look,
intended on snapping this ball.
They have 3 timeouts. You can see them, right? Those 3 little dots under the
And the
IND.
coach should have realized that like that
Call
lineman,
timeout.
like like that's not gonna work.
I think they were trying to draw him off sides or something. There's no way they intended on snapping this ball. Look at this.
Right.
There's no one there to
Draw him
block.
off sides.
There's nobody there to block. There's no shot.
Ready to take the snap.
This is Colt Anderson. He used to play for the Eagles.
Like
He's
right
like
now,
a special team.
right now the defensive ends and the guys, they probably think he's gonna drop back and try to make throw it to the punter, and like they're like,
Right.
Yeah, but those guys are fast enough. They're gonna get to him.
Of
before he
course,
even,
there's
like-
no blocking.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
the center's gonna block 4 dudes.
He'll snap it actually.
I love how he tries. He still tries. I mean,
I do
1, 2,
remember
3,
this.
4,
I
5,
do-
6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 guys there. There's 10 Patriots.
Who do you think made the
And there's
ultimate
Chuck
mistake?
Colts.
Who made the ultimate mistake? Do you think? Do you think it
I
was the
think it's-
center?
The coach.
I think
the coach.
I think it's number 17.
The
Whoever
center.
snapped that ball.
Yeah.
Whoever, there's no
He's
way
17, so he's not like a true center. Like he was
Right,
just good
'cause
on
look,
special
they-
teams.
the long snapper shifted with everyone else.
Oh, and
The whole line did. He's like a gunner. He's like a an athlete that's
Yeah.
supposed to go get.
Now we've got
but like
on a 4th
when they drew this up, obviously they shouldn't have snapped it. But like, was it
They thought the
to
defense was gonna line up more on the strong side with the linemen are.
Or maybe they wanted to draw
Confuse and then
Belichick
draw
into taking a
offsides.
timeout, or take a
Yeah.
timeout, or draw him offside, something. But
like
I
confusion and then like try to draw him offside? Yeah.
I can't imagine this ball is ever supposed to be snapped. But
What?
Colt Anderson, give him credit. He tries to make a move when he gets the. Like he looks kind of surprised when he gets the ball. He's like, "Somebody call timeout, please! Call timeout! Call timeout! Call timeout!"
They just like embraces for impact.
Yeah, I think it could have been trying to draw him, and the dude snapped it.
Because say like it was a play, the only thing I can think of is he throws it back to the punter, who then punts it. And then
Which why not just punt it? Why not just punt it?
maybe they were trying to edge him with like a, I don't know.
like a
It's the worst-
coverage, like get the,
the worst
coverage
play
down
of all
there.
time.
Dumbest play in
Gotta be
Colts.
the worst.
It says dumbest play in Colts history. That is the
That's gotta
dumbest
be-
play in sports
In
history.
sports, yeah, ever.
What did I wonder if there's like the post game press conference? If they asked the coach about it, like
I don't know. Wait, was it? I bet Pat McAfee because he was
right, he
he's
has
like
a show
a-
now.
I bet that because I think he was on this team. That's he's and
I think they were just like
Yeah,
we
he's the
don't know,
punter.
man.
Yep.
They're just like we don't know.
I'm
Oh,
sure
Pat
that
McAfee was
I'm
the
sure-
actual punter.
Yeah, I'm sure that he's talked about it. So maybe next week we'll get his
Okay.
explanation.
I don't want to know. I don't need to know.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
it's
it's
just
best
how
not
it
knowing.
is. Yeah, how it is. Because they'll probably just be like, I don't know. Actually, now I am kind of curious. But wow, that just is so fucking stupid.
There's this guy in high school that played with a grill in his mouth. He went to Clemson. I played against him, and he would jump over us at the snap of the ball and tackle the QB. That's how athletic he was.
That's awesome.
Damn. That's
Yeah,
like
like-
Troy Polamalu, how he used to like
Yeah,
anticipate the snap
yeah.
count.
Exactly.
Didn't
I
they
love
change
guy.
that? I think they changed that rule on like
Okay,
field goals. You
field goal,
can't
'cause it's
jump over the
dangerous.
center, right? You
Yeah.
can you can't jump directly over the center. It has to be a like one of the guards, or you have to touch him or something. There's some weird rule. But that was an interesting play.
That was so dumb. Whew. All right, those are good videos. I like they were all different, like genres.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a diverse, eclectic taste.
All right,
Sweet.
y'all.
All right, are we going
Now.
to Big Bites?
Yeah, it's time for Brandon's Big
Bites.
All right, actually, I'm intercepting. I have an announcement on the podcast. Brandon, we know that you've been in this weight loss competition, right? We've been posting about it,
Yeah.
and I have an incentive for you. One more incentive to try to spice it up, and I wrote out a
Okay.
check. I wrote you a $5,000 check. If you can get to 392.2 by February 19th. So for most of you who don't know, Brandon has been posting about his weight loss. He asked me 4 months ago to try to like kind of push him a little bit to help him lose weight, and we set goals. And he's like on track for a little bit, off track for a little bit. And the competition was ending on February 19th. And that's when the final weigh-in was. And Brandon, I'll never talk about it again after that. But I just wanted to add some excitement to the final stretch of the competition. And I wanted to announce it live on the podcast on Brandon's Big Butt.
That's big. How wait, so what does that boil down to? Like how much
20,
weight?
If I'm at the same weight I was last time, I got to lose 28 pounds in
6 weeks? Oh, dude,
in 40 days.
you can do that. It's
I-
gonna
I
take hard
can.
work, but you can do that, dude. For $5,000,
I'll give you the check now. You can't. It's dated for 2/20/2021, and on the that little line where you write what it's for,
I'll tape it on like my bathroom.
it says
mirror or something like that.
392.2
Oh my
pounds
God.
on February 19th.
dude. If that's not gonna fire you up to do this,
Yeah,
then
it's good. I mean, it's been kind of like an experiment a little bit. And we already talked about it a lot. And I hate to make you talk about it again, Brandon, but I said for 6 months I'm going to help with this competition, and I said if I have one job, is to every month post a video about it. And yeah, we're in the final month and a half, and I just wanted to
40
add.
days.
I wanted to add a little suspense to it because I care about you, and you know the reasons you wanted to do it were for your general health, and I'll shut up about it after this 6 months is over. But I said I would help for 6 months, and I wanted to add a little spice to it.
anytime you're pushing through cardio, whatever you're doing at the gym, or if you're hungry and you like,
You have any advice?
keep that check in your mind. I mean, everyone's got their own incentive and motivation. Obviously, you got to want to do it. This helps. This certainly helps, I would imagine. It's hard, man. Like, obviously, anything like that, it takes a lot of sacrifice, and it's gonna hurt, and you're probably gonna be hungry, and you're probably gonna hate going to the gym. But I would imagine that this $5,000 is incentive to help get you there.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Brandon?
That changes a lot of things.
Okay.
Like, I hate that money like motivates people, but it does. It's
Money
just
talks.
I mean, the thing that David just said is what I've been saying to you. Just that, yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
painful, and like you admitted, you were kind of trying to like beat the system a little bit by, eating a
Yeah.
little healthier and hoping that like since you were eating worse a couple months ago, now you're eating a little healthier, that could do it. But all right, I wanted to do a live announcement on the podcast in this suit to spice that up during your segment. But all right, Now we can go into your big bites, but I just wanted to
we could
have a surprise announcement.
We could we could cut that out and put that on.
We might need to change the name of this segment to Brandon's like moderately sized bites. At least for the next 40 days.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Question 1. Each of y'all name 3 mistakes that you made this year that you plan on not making next year.
I mean, fuck, I don't make any mistakes. I'm perfect.
Come on.
I'm used to when we're doing top 3 on this podcast. I'm used to having some time to think about it because we like do it before.
Well, that's I wanted y'all to like try to like.
Some mistakes I made this year. Damn it. I guess it's good that I can't think of any. But I also remember I said it before on the podcast. I like eliminate negative things from my head. You got any, David?
So I this weekend I got a flat tire and my my tire light went off, tire gauge went off, and then I filled it up, and then 2 days later the tire light went off again, and like the pressure had gone back down. So I knew that something was wrong with the tire, but I said fuck it, and we kept driving anyway. And then we were on the blue route and the tire exploded. So I won't ignore problems with my tire. That's 1. 2, this is our first time having a baby, and we like had built some not so good sleeping habits for her where she had to be like kind of rocked to sleep.
Okay.
And that was super disruptive for us. She's now sleeping in her own bed, like 12 hours a night. It's amazing. So that's mistake number 2. Don't have your baby rely on being rocked to sleep every night. And then number 3,
January, February.
Oh, I got one. We had a toilet that was constantly running, and I tried to fix it, and I thought I fixed it, but also in the back of my head, I knew I kind of didn't fix it, and then we had $1,000 water bill that month.
Could you hear it?
So
like,
don't make that mistake.
Like
on and off.
I have a problem actually with the toilet. We got to make sure like wiggle.
Can you
it.
hear it? Oh, okay, but if you hear it,
you know that means that it's running.
The water's running,
right? And the bill goes up.
And it doesn't recycle; it goes up exponentially.
Right, like it goes way up.
So 2 months of $1,000 water bills, and all my bills are on auto pay, so I didn't check.
Right.
Mistake number 3.
I mean, the most common mistake I make is like, I mean, if I have like a bad ad running and fall asleep and I wake up in the morning and like I spent way too much money on a bad ad and that I should have checked before bed, but I've done a good job of already kind of fixing that. Okay. So one of the biggest things I did in business this year was I hired an operations manager, and it didn't work out. It worked for 7 months. The mistake I made that I'm going to learn from in the future is that it's a big job, and I only interviewed one person, and I should have, and I thought it sounded great, even though. So the thing I'm doing in the future, and I'm actually hiring someone now for a pretty big job, and I'm learning from this, is even if the first person that you get and talk to and interview sounds great, and you just want to hire them, and because you don't feel like going through other interviews, force yourself to at least have 2 or 3 other interviews. And also, if I could go back, I would have called his references. I've never called references in my life. And
what would you ask him?
Just, hey, I'm thinking about hiring this guy. He has you listed as a reference. Is he good? I've had people call me for references before of like former employees.
It's kind of pointless, to be honest with you, because who's going to list a bad reference? You have to, first of all,
right, and you know that when you make the call.
So something you have to do is verify the reference. Like go on like LinkedIn or whatever it is. And be like, who is this? Is this guy just like another employee, or is he?
I'm not saying like right, and I'm not saying just because the reference says they're good, I'm going to agree it's good. But like, investigate it more. Like, I mean, I've hired over 50 people. We have 17 right now, and I've hired wrong people in the past. Like someone who's very talkative and nice in the interview, but I needed them for a shipping job, and I learned that I need to hire people that hate talking. So like if they're awkward in their interview and they say they hate people, it's like kind of what I need for that job. So
also, if you interview somebody and they have like awesome strengths and they impress you somewhere, like don't just write them off because you're not looking to hire like the shipping person. All right, they maybe not right for the shipping job, but is there somewhere else? If you're impressed with somebody, like you should try to find a way to use them, utilize them.
I never do that just because like if I'm hiring for this one job, it means I need to fill this one spot, and like, but that's a good thought. Like it's a good thought. So yeah, forcing myself to at least have a couple interviews no matter what, even if the first person
good
seems
one.
great. And I mean, Brandon, remember my podcast with Brad Lee?
Yeah,
I was absolute fucking disaster. Well, and what I did, so like I have had some big names on the podcast, and this guy Brad Lee's pretty big, like
He's probably top 3 that you ever
a
had.
few 100,000 like Instagram followers, like a big business guy, big podcast.
He's right up there with Cardone and
Yeah, I was
all
pumped to
that.
get him on, and the mistake that I would say was specifically, it was I said it was the worst podcast I ever had. The mistake I made specifically was I kind of had like scripted out the podcast in my head as far as the questions I was going to ask, kind of practicing the cadences a little bit, kind of thinking he would say this and then I would say this. And it didn't go. Well, first we had some technical issues, which made it awkward. Like I was actually going to make a joke. And this guy's like a jokester, like kind of like a, always smoke with cigars, like talk about like grab him by the nuts, like kind of like a potty mouth a little bit. And the one time I was listening to him and I was prepping for it, and I heard that he got like 3 DUIs. And I was going to crack a beer on the podcast.
Remember that joke you were going to say? Yes.
I was going to crack a beer on the podcast and be like, yeah, do you mind if I have a beer? I know you don't mind with all those DUIs. Like, I was going to make like a little joke at the beginning.
God, dude.
If he didn't do it, but if he did.
Well, I didn't do it because like we had an awkward start. So it didn't feel
too awkward.
Didn't feel
that
right.
would have been like way
It didn't feel right. So like I got knocked off my cadences and my script and the questions I was going to ask, and it did not go where I was expecting it to go. Ultimately, the thing that wasn't my fault, like, was just he didn't have like a microphone and like the sound was bad, and but that created awkwardness. But basically, I had it scripted out in my head too much, and I was over prepped. So the mistake I made was being over prepped with how the podcast was going to go with a famous person, and I know in the future that I should definitely have some questions ready. I shouldn't be ready to spitball the entire time, but need to be ready to adjust if there is something that goes unforeseen. All right, I ended up coming up with some.
Hell yeah.
What about you?
All right.
Big bites?
Through mistake. See, when
Or
I
just
write
like
these out-
one mistake.
Yeah, I don't like think about my mistakes. I'd be able to do off the cuff this year.
Well, that's what we have to do. That's what we just had to do.
One thing with like women is I feel like I don't even know what to say now. Like emotional intelligence. Just be better at emotional intelligence. Like I overthink something that happens, and like I'll just take it for something that it is.
Example.
I mean, I don't have one. It's just emotional intelligence. Like get better at emotional intelligence.
All right.
And yeah.
Okay.
All right. Question 2. So women apparently like when men make noises during sex. Do you make noises during sex?
Hell yeah. I don't even know.
Like,
I guess I don't know.
I might like do like a deep breath or like this is so intimate. Yeah, like like I don't like what type of noises are you
Grunts.
Yeah, like first of all, I don't intentionally like yelp or anything like that. If anything, it's like a subtle like or something like that. It's sorry. It's so, he asked the question.
Good God.
That's just
Next.
that's just intimate as all. But like I don't know what kind of answer are you looking for?
I that's why I asked it.
I think a simple yes would have sufficed. That they would need it. All right. Next question.
Well, no. What did you say, David?
I said I think so. I don't know. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play, but again, it's not top of mind at the moment. You know what I mean? It's not something I'm thinking about during the moment, but maybe.
Hey, I'm here to spice it up a little bit.
What about you, Brandon? Like in this article that you said that you hear, what did you say? You hear
it was a TikTok. It was like,
did they give examples?
No, like it's like
this.
Just like one song. It's like this one song, like it's playing, and like people change it up. It's like it's like kind of like they're trying to give a lesson. They're like, you need to start blah 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 blah, and like this like songs playing, it's like motivation. There's one girl that got like really famous, like you need to start making noises during sex, like telling the men, and it's just like it was a famous TikTok, and it just made me.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, I got one more. All right. So skip 2021. It's 2022. Talk about like how your life will be in 2022 and how you'd be different.
I'll be 2 years older. Or maybe I guess a year older, depending when in 2022. Kid will be a little older. We might be in a new house.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, we probably would be in. I would probably be in hopefully the same company, different job. I like my job now, but always looking to climb that ladder. Maybe thinking. I mean, I guess depends on when. Maybe thinking about kid number two. But it's so hard to say. But I think it'll be. Hopefully, we'll be out of all this craziness, and it'll be like life is back to normal, and it'll just be happy as a clam and living my life with my family.
I'm gonna be a fucking baller, like I already am. But I'm moving from. I have a big 2 months coming up right now. I'm selling my house, and I'm moving into an apartment. By the way, you should come visit sometime during the year in the apartment, because the apartment that I'm living in, it's big. It's 3 bedrooms, but it's like right in the middle of like Daniel Island. There's like restaurants and there's like a concert venue. Like it's like it'll be a different lifestyle because we're walking. But we signed a 1-year lease for 2021. So like in 2022, I don't know where I'll be living. We were thinking maybe 2 years in an apartment or 1 year in an apartment. But I want my next house after that to be like even bigger than my first house. And I hope that right now I'm taking my $5 million company in 3,000 square feet, moving it to 22,000 square feet. And I have no idea like how to do that. So like that's what entrepreneurs do. They take on more than they can chew, and like we need the space, but I hope that my warehouse efficiency and logistics are not going to be like losing money, and I hope to have it filled out and like healthily running the new warehouse. Will
you at least have one robot in your warehouse?
I hope so. I'm gonna say not by that year. I mean the machines that embroider are like kind of robots, but no, I hope. I mean. That'd be great.
Did y'all see that video that Elon Musk posted on his Twitter?
Yeah, that robot dancing.
Yeah, I saw that. It was trending on Instagram or YouTube. I saw it. Boston Dynamics. I would love to have. Employee robots. I mean, just obviously that's amazing. They don't need lunch breaks or pee breaks, and they don't make mistakes. Like, but
you think like maintaining a robot would cost more than a human? Just like the fixing it up.
I mean,
no.
The thing is, no, definitely not. But the thing is, like, I would need specific robots to do specific tasks, and like, what company's gonna mass produce a robot that needs to do my specific task? I don't know how that'll play out, but I know in the future I'll definitely have more automation and robots around the office. I mean, all the technology we have now is a lot of automation and robots, like the machines. Like, if you wanted to embroider a shirt in the past, you had to do it with thread and a needle. But I need people to operate those robot machines. But yeah, I just want to like make all the decisions that I've made this year to move into my new big next year in 2022. They'll be justified, and they will be like
realized.
Like underway big time, and in like the prime. 22,000 square feet. This building, man, it's like a school. So I'm pumped. I'm excited, and that's where I see myself in 2022. That shit running smoothly. How about you?
I don't want to I think that's like we talked about everything on the topics, but I just feel like not a good ending. We need to talk about something else.
This is your segment. Oh, talk about dogs. Pearl.
That's a beautiful
Pearl, what's your opinion on the food being on the table when you're really hungry, but you can't reach it, but you can smell it?
I love it. I always get a crumb. I think she talks like this is the kind of voice she would have.
Pearl, I think, yeah.
She be talking like this. Listen, I don't care what you're talking about with the food scraps, but just get me a cigarette and I'll be happy. She's a dirtbag.
All right. I got one more big
I think that's what Pearl sound like.
I just made it up.
All
I
right.
got one more big fight. All right, Sean, David, y'all both have to ask one question for all of us to answer.
That's your big
By
bite.
all of us, do you mean?
That's your big bite, just passing it off.
You guys know it. Yeah.
Like, David, do you have a question you want to ask Sean and me. And Sean, do you have a question you want to ask David? And me?
All right, my question for you too. Well, it's just for Brandon. It's are you going to get down to the 392?
Yes, I'm already like strategizing. Like,
I mean,
I'm
honestly,
I'm basically thinking I'm gonna like take breaks at work and like literally exercise at work. Like,
that's fine. Like
I think that's the only
I don't think
option
you will.
make.
If you want more motivation,
Yeah. Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Can I do it?
you have to weigh in.
I don't
at
think
three,
you can
you have
lose
to
that
weigh.
much weight,
Yeah, you have to
David. How
weigh
much
in.
you weigh?
You have to weigh in at 392.2.
You have to gain that.
Do you?
weight.
I mean, I don't think you could do that in 40 days. But like, how much weight do you think you could put on in 40 days if your one goal you have to save?
gain weight?
If you have to you have to save the world by gaining the most weight you can possibly gain.
And for every pound I gain, 1 million people are saved.
Yeah, like how much? Yes, that's a good.
I don't know, 50 pounds,
50 pounds,
right?
It would
Probably.
be. It would be.
I mean,
It would be
that?
fun.
So
Probably
it's
not. It would be
3,500
so much fun.
calories per pound. Like that's like you're eating for
Wait,
like,
no, I it's got to be more than that, right?
Like
Yeah,
a pound
no,
a
it's
day. Like a
3,500
pound. I'd
calories
say like a
equals
pound or
1
two a
pound.
day. Say 2 pounds a day.
I don't
So
think I could
40
keep it up.
days, 80
I don't think I could do
pounds.
it.
Seven.
I would-
That's 7,000.
You'd be like this.
calories.
Like
I would
throwing
feel like
up.
shit all day.
Yeah.
every
I mean,
day.
you're trying to save 1 million people though.
Your arteries would like basically be clogged.
Die.
Like
Yeah, fuck. I don't know. That's maybe 40 pounds. I mean, a pound a day. I
Pound
don't
a
know.
day.
It's-
I think you can put
But
on
it
40
would be
pounds in
fun.
40 days.
I would just eat ice cream. I
Like-
would just eat all the ice cream I wanted.
You'd have to like mathematically figure out like which food makes you the fattest that you can input the most. Like I'm sure it's like chicken wings and pizza and ice cream and shit like that.
I
but-
think it's. I mean, like chicken wings and pizza, it's super unhealthy. But I don't know that that's gonna get like chicken wings is not that substantial. I think it's gonna be like ice cream,
you like,
cake,
'cause of the
carbs,
sugar?
bread, a lot of
Okay,
bread,
yeah.
sugar and carbs. Yeah, I don't know.
You'd have to do some research on like what
bagels.
is the best way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, if I could have like a professional help me, because I think I mean I know actors put on a lot of weight, but that's got to be so unhealthy to put that much weight on it at once.
Or like that bar that she gave her in Mean Girls to like put on weight and told her it was
Oh,
a weight
yeah, the
loss
Caltine
thing.
bars?
Yeah.
Is butter a carb?
All right, that's mine.
All right. I guess I will ask. I don't know. Keep talking. I got to think of. I don't have anything I care about really.
Brandon, you gonna get a gym membership, or do workouts outside of the gym?
I think to lose that much weight, I think I need to do like high intensity, and probably the only way to motivate me that much, I would have to get someone to like yell at me to do that. So yeah, probably a gym membership where they yell at me.
If you don't mind me
Orange
asking,
Theory.
like what is your like routine now? Like in terms of like fitness, do you do the treadmill? Do you do elliptical? Do you just walk?
That
Like,
shit,
anything?
I don't do anything. Like
I don't. To be honest,
Doesn't
I don't know
exercise at
that
all.
you'd have to get. I don't think you have to do
Saturday-
like high
Saturdays-
intensity stuff.
well,
Yes, you do.
I
Not-
need to like.
I don't think so.
Yes.
So
what do
like
you do?
kind of like Sean, me and Sean had this
Run the
conversation.
elliptical for like 30 minutes. Elliptical
Me-
is pretty
yeah.
low impact on
That's
your
where you
joints and
start.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's like just do cardio. Break a sweat every single. You
That's
break
what-
a sweat
dude,
every single day.
that's what I said, break a
then
sweat.
It's gonna help.
That's
and
what I
then
said.
also, like, it's gonna suck, but like skip a meal.
That's
You know,
also what I
skip-
said.
Like once every 2 days.
You
skip a
will
meal.
not die. Your body is going to scream at you and say, "I want food. I want food." Like, but you have to say no to your body. And then the way that people would justify that is it's unhealthy if I don't eat. Know for a fact that
That's not true.
it's not like you don't.
You
It's
just
not
need
true.
water to survive. You don't really need food.
You can go
And I
7 days
think
without
you
eating
can
food
do
and
it.
you'll be fine.
Dude, I think you can do it. I think the big thing is like you have to fully commit to it. Like it's not something
Like
that you can like
every
kind of
second counts.
every
like-
yeah
Every second
every
counts.
single day.
Absolutely, every second counts.
Right.
And it's like you got to ride momentum. For me, like there was remember after college I gained like 25 30 pounds and I was like a slob and I was like, all right, I'm not like, you know, I wanted to be healthy. So there's no shortcuts and no cheating. And you like after like the first couple days are really hard, obviously.
Yeah,
But
the
after
first
like
couple
3
days are
4
hard.
days, then you're like, I'm not gonna fuck up 4 days of all this work by eating
Right.
a slice of pizza or whatever.
Right.
Like here's day 5, and then you get into like a little bit of a routine and
Right.
you ride momentum, and then it's also like you start to like the way you're feeling. You
Yeah.
like start to like eating vegetables and like chicken, and you feel like you're accomplishing something by staying disciplined. So it takes like 4 or 5 days to get to that point.
Get
where
through
it's,
those
like, gonna
3 or 4.
suck and
Yeah, I lost 20 pounds
get
twice
through-
in my life, and the first couple of days are bad. But then it
Hard.
becomes
It's really
normal.
hard.
The first couple of days
But
are
then
hard. But
and it's
then
not
it's
even-
not.
It's like fun. It's like you're
Yeah.
accomplishing something when
It's
you're
like
like
a
another
game.
day where I didn't cheat.
And there's big power in string. Like if there's 16 days and you have 8 amazing days and 8 shitty days, and it's every other, that's not as powerful as if doesn't matter which one's first. The stringing of the days together is huge. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's what I mean by momentum. Like
Yeah.
you have to, because if you go every other day, then it's like, yesterday I cheated. But if you go like 3 days,
it's
you're like, I haven't
exponential.
cheated on this.
It's exponential, like to the day, to the next day, to the next day,
And then you build accountability yourself rather than
Yes.
needing somebody. And then another thing, so it's a lot harder to eat healthy than it is to eat shitty because
Dude, just skip meals.
you have to plan ahead. But even if you like
Just the
cut
amount of
out
cooking too. Like that's
So the
only
people
thing.
that like
Yeah.
eat healthy, like that's like a lifestyle thing. But then you're always thinking about food. I think it's just the best to just not eat because it's easy. Like as far like if you like, there's some weight loss plans that are like eat every 2 hours, eat this. But then you're like planning it out and thinking about food. Fasting is like a huge thing now, and it's just easy to remember. Don't eat. So it's just easier,
Right.
I think.
or do like whenever I have to do that, I'll do like just lean, like just chicken, beef, vegetables, like no rice, no carbs, no bread,
And
no
don't
cheese,
and don't intake 1 calorie from a beverage. Right?
just drink water,
Like
drink
do
water.
not drink
water and coffee.
water and coffee and no sugar or cream in the coffee.
That's another big thing is like soda, candy, ice cream, like all the sugary shit.
Like you
'cause
don't you don't
it's
think
obviously
you don't think like you look at the candy on the back, it says 0
serving size or whatever.
no, it says 0 fat.
trans fat.
Yeah. And like soda, it's just a liquid. How much could it do? Soda will fucking
Kill you.
destroy you. Soda, beer. That's the reason I'm not in better shape. I work out all the time, but I drink too much beer.
I was thinking that, I think it was like yesterday or the day before, is like that's the only reason that you're always going to be doughy is because you drink a lot of beer.
I mean, I work out all the
Like, you-
time.
You
I-
should be like shredded because you work out every single day.
and I
you
do like
kill
Orange Theory
yourself every day
workouts.
over it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I usually have like wine with beer with dinner, like, and
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's not a shot. You're still in
Yeah.
good shape. It's just that's what's keeping you probably from being
from like
like
6-pack level.
yeah.
I mean, I've known that forever, and yeah, I mean, if someone offered me $5,000,
I mean, if you got a 6-pack, what would you do different with your life? if you
I
had a
mean,
six-pack?
right, nothing, like, so.
But the $5,000 should help.
Yeah,
I would think, right?
like if I was always
That's a
thinking
lot
if I had motivation to get a 6-pack, it would be like if I was going to start a movie or if I had a reason to do it, I could definitely do it.
Brandon, what would you if you had here's my question. If you had $5,000 right now, what would you do with it? Would you like something fun? Don't say save it. buy?
Probably
Bitcoin.
like
Some of you have to spend some of it.
my first thought was like I know like I have Sean's car, but probably buy a car, like just like call it mine. I guess.
Dude, you could do that.
It's a down payment,
Okay,
or
that's
is
a big one.
yeah.
Yeah.
or $5,000. Like yeah, I mean, or like yeah.
Or you could buy like a new Xbox or something with and then like put the rest into
I'm
ice
not gonna
cream.
like
Bitcoin or
plan
something.
like to have it like and already think I have
Put it in the
like,
bank.
I
Yeah,
gotta-
don't.
I gotta earn it.
that's your first mistake, dude. You have to plan to already have it because you
Yeah.
like
It's
you just convince yourself. You're
Convince
gonna do
yourself.
it. I know you're gonna do it. It's just a matter of like if you don't get there mentally for another week, it's gonna be way harder. So like today, be like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm
Every
getting
second
there.
counts.
This is $5,000, dude. I don't know what like $5,000 is a lot of money to anyone. So
$5,000. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. I enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah, me too.
My favorite thing is the this show, the writers' room.
yeah, that was fun.
I wish we had
I'm
like
excited
a,
to see where
a
things go.
production budget, but yeah, we'll see where it goes. And all right, Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for listening. We love you guys, and like, subscribe, all that bullshit. Leave a comment, talking shit, and we love you so much. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
Adios.
Oh my God. I just got the worst news ever. Turns out, if you don't subscribe to the podcast, I will die. I will die. So please subscribe. Please. My life depends on it.